Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brayden, the host of Game Johns, a gaming podcast where my crew and I talk about anything and everything related to games, including Facebook is taking over your mind with VR, how to make a good soundtrack whilst tripping balls, which one of us is going pro, what games to play while you're lost in space, who's the most cripplingly addicted to gaming, which games have our emotional states in shambles, why are people who play games on their phones always such losers, does everyone who plays COD drink Mountain Dew, Dungeons, Dragons, and DMT, which board games cause divorce, and so much more. In fact, we just released our 100th episode. Check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple and Google Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts can be found. This is Game Johns, where games are our John.
Today on the Region Free Gamers podcast, happy anniversary to us, it's our 5th annual Game of the Year episode. Hello everyone, welcome to the Region Free Gamers podcast, the podcast fluent in gaming. My name is Paul Romalo, and with me today, Senor Arnaldo Perez.
Hey, what's going on, Paul?
Not much, trying to stay warm. And additionally, not having any problems staying warm, Kelly Branford.
Oh yeah, you better believe I was outside walking with shorts on today. Gotta love that.
Shorts!
Arizona. Yep, Arizona winter weather. Gotta love it.
Oh, man.
And last but not least, although he might say otherwise, Mr. Mike Doucette.
True. It's rainy here. It's wet. New England weather sucks. It's brutal.
We're all talking about weather.
Snow.
Yeah.
I want snow.
Really lives up to
we
the H.P. Lovecraft sort of depressive, want to kill yourself kind of.
I know. Well, like
scenario.
it's gonna make the ray of sunshine that is what we're gonna discuss today. I think all the better.
Yes,
that's what
And I think at least with this episode, we'll know it's not going to air in the summer.
That's
So
true.
We'll be like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, no, this is a top priority. Now we're talking about weather because outside here where I am today, we had for me, record lows. In the 8 years that I've lived in Whitehorse, today's the first time that during the day it hit minus 42 degrees. It's cold as shit out there today. It's shocking.
I feel like you're lying. Like I feel like you just make up these numbers every day. Like you just get up and you're like, today's like a minus 57 day. I'll just tell them that.
Yeah.
Who's gonna
Arnie,
come for me?
Arnie, did you see him when he came back in after putting his car Kotatsu on his truck? He was like, I could see it in your eyes, Paul. You were just like, where am I? Well, what's going on again? It's shockingly cold. The cold was so harsh that it was like a punch in the face.
I needed to get inside.
Like it was, yeah. Like Paul just went sparring. And then came back. That's how brutal the cold is.
That picture of you in the after you went for a walk where your eyelashes were frozen. Yeah. That shit was straight out of like I shouldn't be alive.
That was pretty funny. It's funny because those days are extremely cold, but they're only extremely cold for like the first 10-20 minutes you're outside, and then once you're warmed up, it's actually kind of cool. Like it's just
because then your organs start failing and you start
you become delirious.
That's like
is this Arizona?
That's like ice delirium. It's ice delirium. You're like everything's fine. I don't even need a jacket.
Isn't that like a thing when you're getting frostbite that like towards the end you get like really really hot, and that's why a lot of people that freeze to death they find them nude. Yeah,
they take off their clothes. They hallucinate. I was on a canoe trip. It was actually a canoe race that went very poorly because it's like a 72-hour canoe race. It was a stupid idea.
The fuck?
I know.
What?
Oh my god!
You were doing the Iditarod of canoe races?
Yeah. Was it your idea?
No, it was my fucking.
Okay. If you'd like to hear the rest of the story, subscribe to our Patreon. Only $5 a month.
No, I'm gonna put it out there right now. It was our boss's idea. Our boss at work signed us up for the Yukon River Quest. It's like 2.5 days, and you get like 12 hours of sleep total over the 3 days. You have to like go canoe all night. It's insane, man. Right? And so he signs us up. He thinks it's like a good thing for coworkers to do. Motherfucker then 2 weeks before drops out.
No, are you serious?
I'm not. No, sorry. I am serious. This guy.
This is the most American like labor story I've ever heard outside of America.
That's total bullshit.
Oh, dude, I was not impressed. None of us were. And so because
why? Did he say why?
Because he was a piece of shit. Like that's why.
What? Dude. Yeah, dude, that's
he gave no good reason. He gave no good reason.
No good reason.
Other than like I don't feel prepared or whatever. Like, yeah, dude. Like,
what the fuck?
You're the one who signed this up. How can you not be prepared? So anyway,
I don't even.
Honestly, when in doubt, you just always go explosive diarrhea. Like nobody's ever gonna call you on that. Like,
yeah. You could just say something crazy. Just be like, I've gone insane. I can't go. I'm insane. Like,
he's like, I have hypothermia. Starts taking off all his clothes in the office.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Yeah. But anyway, so we start at like 11:30 in the morning or 11 o'clock. That's when the race starts, and you go all night until about 4 o'clock the next day in the afternoon, right? And then you get to sleep, and then you start again. So overnight, we actually had like record poor weather. Right? Like we were over a lake, a giant lake, Lake Labarge. Several canoes were like toppled because of the storms. Like there was winds and shit, and they just like capsized. Capsized is the word. I'm not a seaman. So anyhow, so we're going over. These guys are shaking their heads. I know. That was quality. So overnight, it gets really friggin' cold, right? And we made the mistake of stopping several times, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to keep going because the moment you stop is the moment you start getting hypothermia. And people in the boat, myself included, started getting hypothermia. Girl sitting behind me, she was like, where's my sleeping bag? I just want to go to sleep. Sleep is a good idea right now. And I'm looking back at her. I'm like, you can't sleep. You can't sleep. If you sleep, you die. Like, we can't be carrying.
And
your
are
corpse.
you guys just like out in the middle of this lake? Like, there's no like safety people around you, or?
There are safety people, but they're spread out over 50 to 70 kilometers.
Giant,
yeah. Like, so we're on the river. God. And that's what it is. He dropped out 2 weeks before. He dropped out.
Yeah, your boss is cheering you on. Your boss is cheering you on. Straight up. He's cheering you on. Like he's like, you guys are doing great. He's like eating Doritos. He's like, you're doing great out there.
He can follow us.
It's awesome.
This is a thing you can just enter as like an amateur. Like there's no requirement. There's no like physical sort of minimum.
Hey, we're going to make sure you don't die.
No requirement.
Okay.
None.
This is like pure. This is true incompetent CEO energy. Like this is true. Like he probably read it in like GQ. He probably read in GQ that like you should take your staff. And he was like, "Yo, that's a really good idea."
I was gonna say
because I want to be like this. I want to be like I want to be like Tom Hardy with the briefcase. Like I want to. All right, let's sign up. He's total entrepreneur thinking, and then he just bails. He bails. I'm sorry if he's listening. Like. Dude, you suck, man.
I 100% agree with Mike. Like, I imagine your boss as like a grind set, like win success meme kind of guy. Like...
Inspirational posters on the wall.
Oh man, yeah, teamwork. I would have been like, yeah, teamwork is great, isn't it? Isn't it? Leadership.
That's fucking wild. But did you guys finish?
No, we had to drop out. I got hypothermia and I didn't recover.
Dude,
like it was. So the next afternoon, we're still paddling, and I'm wearing like layers. Like I've got a sweater, I've got a jacket on, and it's 20 degrees outside. It's sunny. It warmed up, right? It's like hot, and I'm still shivering like the whole time.
Yeah.
So I had to, and other people had issues as well. I don't want to throw other people under the bus, but yeah. So we dropped out like halfway through. It was
like you would have pressed on, but all these other fucking wimps, like
I would have given up sooner. If not for peer pressure, I would have given up sooner. It was a stupid idea.
Did you? And I know the answer to this, but like this wasn't like a thing you guys were doing. Like you didn't get paid overtime or like fucking any extra shit for doing
I used
the
vacation
stupid
time. Like,
Are you
Oh
fucking
my
kidding?
god!
actual vacation
Oh my
time.
god!
Kelly's just shaking her head. I know. It's
This is incredible.
I'm so mad.
anyhow. So hypothermia
mad.
is a
Anyway.
thing. I've seen it happen.
Right.
People
That's great.
lose their minds. It's really weird. But if you're going to die, actually, not a really bad way to go. You start hallucinating. You don't really feel that much pain. You just kind of
Yeah.
go to
Yeah,
sleep, and
probably.
that's that.
You were in Super Robot Wars for like 2 hours in there. Like you were like, oh, I am Mazinger Z. Fuck.
Oh, if only. If only. Man.
Turn around, the girl behind you's the big O. You're like, what the fuck?
Anyhow, game of the year.
Hey.
Game of the year. That's what this
Hey.
episode
Yes.
is. Our fifth
Woo!
game of the year episode. We've been around for 40
Incredible.
years.
That's right.
Arnaldo Perez, did you see this coming?
No.
No.
Fuck. Honestly, I was surprised when we made it. Actually, that's not true. If you're asking me if I saw it coming when we started, absolutely not. By the time we got to like the second one, I was like, we could probably fucking, sort of meander our way to 5 of these by now, right? Like,
Yeah.
we sort of got the rhythm down.
The first 6 months actually were the real like kind of
Yeah.
sink or swim, and then once the
Yeah.
maybe
When
8
the
months,
second
but-
episode was like unusable, I was like, all right, well, this was a nice like month and a half of my life. Like, I had fun, we all learned things along the way.
Oh man. But anyhow, yeah, so game of the year. I'm pretty excited for this one. It's just a fun episode, man. You talk about all the best stuff and other things that may have pissed you off too, because we also have a most disappointing category, which is also like bizarrely fun. I guess because we like complaining, but trying to make it entertaining. Before we get to the game of the year stuff, though, as always, a big thank you. Not to Arnie for laughing at me, because I don't even know why he's laughing at me right now. The story about the canoe is long gone now. So not a thank you to Arnie.
Our best story, our best like intro story by far.
Really good.
I can't believe I never
It's
told you
really
guys
good.
about that.
It blows my mind.
What, the time you almost
I just
died?
thinking about it. Yeah, the time you guys, a group of you almost died on vacation.
I could see how you
on
forget
vacation.
something like that.
On vacation.
Oh,
too.
man.
That's like, oh man.
Anyhow, a big thank you to all of our
Yes.
listeners, all of our patrons especially. If you want to get in touch with us, if you want to see our social media, if you want to join our Patreon, you can find all those links at linktree/regionfreegamers, linktr.ee/regionfreegamers. You can find all that there. And if you want to help us out in a way that doesn't affect your wallet, now Spotify. You can leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, please. That'd be very
That's
much
right.
appreciated.
Thank
now,
you.
Yeah. And I'd like to say a few words, Paul, real quick, if I
oh
could.
Christ. Yeah, okay, go.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. And I got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed. Our reviews have slowed. Our Spotify ratings have slowed. And I know your fuckers are out there. Like, I see how many people actually listen to this show. And this is what this is people taking advantage of my emotional labor.
Right.
Like, do you think it's easy to get up at the ass crack of noon and like deliver just the worst opinions you've ever heard into a microphone? Like, do you think this doesn't take work and preparation for me to
With
punish
zero,
Paul?
it's you know how much prepreparation it is. It's zero.
That's right.
What are you?
It's preparation H, if anything.
It's none.
But no, like if Paul's saying, if you love us, specifically me, because I put a lot of my self-worth into all this stuff, like a lot, like an unhealthy amount. Leave us a review, give us money. Like, all I ask is for 2.5 uninterrupted hours of your attention every 2 weeks or so. Like, that's less work than like your cat or your child. I think I deserve this. I think I work hard for this. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. Don't worry about the money, people. The Patreon stuff, it's nice. It helps us pay the bills. Really, really what we want are the reviews and referrals. You know, if we
get up to 100 patrons, Paul, if we get up to 100 patrons, I will buy a canoe. I will come up to your home and we will video ourselves paddling across a lake of your choice.
I have a canoe and we can totally go out for a paddle.
There we go.
Yeah, that'll be a thing that we can do once you come up to visit one day.
On a record -42 day, we'll just scrape the ice with the top of the canoe.
Anyhow, so our Game of the Year episode, a little bit different, I would say, than most people, if not all, because we are not a podcast that plays a lot of new games. We all talk about our backlogs. I'm looking at Kelly's shelf right there, and I'm gonna guess 70% of those games are unplayed.
That's probably about a good guess, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've all got our backlogs, and I don't really personally want to play all the new games that come out every year. Mike might be different. This is Mike's first Game of the Year episode with us, and I know his tastes are a little bit different. Kelly, I know, definitely going into the backlog. So what we like to do is we like to start off each Game of the Year episode. I actually don't know if we've started them off previously in this manner, but we are today. We're going to talk about our favorite non-2021 Game of the Year. So a game that was not released last year, but we played it because we dipped into that backlog. We got to clean it out. So I promised Kelly I wouldn't start with her. So, Arnie, I'm going to be nice. No, wait, I'm going to be nice to our listeners too. We'll start with Mike. Mike, tell me about your non-2021 Game of the Year.
My non-2021 Game of the Year by a hair, because it came out in very, very late 2020, is Olija. Olija is a game that you can currently get on PS4. I believe you can get it on Xbox One, and you can get it on Switch and on Steam. I think it has demo on Steam. It's a Devolver Digital published joint. I'm going to hate myself because I forgot to look up who the developer is, and that's going to drive me insane. Arnie, could you please look out the developer of Olija, please? Yes. Olija, because I need to give him credit where it's due. So Olija's my favorite game of not 2021. Came out again just right at the end of 2020. It's essentially a 2D indie action platformer. It has some Metroidvania elements. You can kind of backtrack and go to certain levels, but it's much more level based and less one giant world based. And there is sort of like gradually unlocking abilities, but there aren't too many. It's much more concerned with platforming and with action. The thing that is most striking when people look at a game like Olija is obviously the aesthetic. It has this kind of Commodore 64 pixel resolution type look to it. The animation, like when you look at it sort of, you know, just kind of standing still, the animation, you would think it might be like a cinematic platformer, kind of like Prince of Persia type thing.
That's what I was thinking when I saw it.
Yeah. But in motion, it's not. In motion, it's really kind of energetic and animated and active. And I know I've seen some people kind of give it a bit of flack for that because the animations are kind of quite exaggerated sometimes. And, you know, but to me, I think it replicates perfectly that Commodore 64 era of, you know, those kind of faceless avatars and with like humanoid proportions and stuff moving like relatively realistically. And, I know I'm gonna jump all over the place when I talk about it, but I guess I should talk about the story first and really quickly. And basically, I said Prince of Persia, and that's not an accident. That why my favorite game ever is my favorite game of 2020 is Olija, because I love Prince of Persia. I love cinematic platformers, especially older ones, for the atmosphere they create, for how cinematic and visually kind of stunning they are. And Olija is like a love letter to all of those. Olija is the game that was made for me. Like when I saw trailers for it, I was like, so it's basically Moby Dick meets Kung Fu, because you play like a captain in like an old whaling vessel who basically gets sucked into this alternate world under the sea. So it's basically Kung Fu, James Carradine Kung Fu mixed with Moby Dick, where you have a spear, a sentient spear that you can control with your mind and basically teleport to and from it. And you use that as like a platforming ability as well as a combat ability. And you mix that with kind of cinematic platformer aesthetics and cutscenes, and the soundtrack sounds like Prince of Persia. It's like kind of classical sort of instruments and woodwinds, and it even has the musical stings just like Prince of Persia. And for the really old people like Karateka, which was Jordan Mechner's game before that, you know, all the little musical stings like, you know, like Karateka and Prince of Persia were influenced heavily by like silent films. And Oliya is too. It has all of those elements because there is dialogue in the sense that there's a script, but there's no language. It's all kind of like gibberish, or you know, like in the same way that if you don't know Elvish and you're watching, you know, Lord of the Rings or whatever. Special shout out to the villain in Oliya, who has some of the greatest sound design ever for his voice, and he's absolutely terrifying. And the game is just really good at creating this setting an atmosphere, creating a world with lore, not telling you everything. But at the same time, it's not like Dark Souls where it's like, oh God, there's all this lore, and it's like, no, it's a very simple story. It's a story about a kingdom, and this guy is stuck there and he wants to get out. And so he basically uses this magic spear to, you know, destroy this evil spirit with the help of this princess, this person who lives there in this kingdom. And I don't want to spoil too much more, because part of the fun is how it wordlessly, because again, like there's no dialogue, so tons of the, especially, in fact, now that I think about it, the only people, like the person who doesn't talk, the main characters are the ones who don't talk. Like it's your main character and the princess never say a word, and so all of their interactions are all silent, and they're all done with animations and posing and everything. And I'm just going to say, if you love old martial arts films, if you love, you know, if you love old martial arts films, and if you love like cinematic platformers like Flashback, and you love Prince of Persia, you love Karateka, like you got to play this. Like it takes so many pieces from so many of those things, and I love it. I just love it. I could gush about it forever.
I have never heard of it until you mentioned it now.
The team's they're from Japan.
Yeah, it's it's a Skeleton Crew Studio, and Thomas Olsen are credited with developing the game.
Excellent. And it's funny, I'm going to sound like a dick when I say this. I don't mean it this way. I'm using it as a way to illustrate how much of a fanboy I am and a nerd I am about this game. But, you know, I like some, you know, friends of mine from Toronto still working in the industry, still doing indie stuff. A lot of them have been to Japan a bunch of times, you know, to like kind of network or do things. And so I found out one of my good friends, he was like, oh yeah, like I know them. Like, you know, we've chatted a couple times, and I was like, can you please just tell them how much I love their game? Like just tell them over and over again. Like, and they were like, yeah, they get it. Trust me. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I feel like they read my mind, and I'm like, tell them to make a physical release, tell them to make everything. Like I'll buy all of it. Like it's such a, the only thing I think I can say about the game that, and it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know if it's a problem for some people, especially us. It's a little short. You know, you can kind of knock it out. You can knock it out and kind of see everything it has to offer in about, 5 hours, 6 hours.
Too long.
So it's not too long. Not too long. But it's to me, it's the elements of, like playing it made me feel like a little kid playing Karateka for the first time, and seeing these wordless cutscenes and with just actions and musical stings and how they could tell a story with just all these really simple elements and tell such an amazing kind of classic story. Just kind of blew my mind. And I was just like, I'm so glad somebody made this. I'm so glad somebody is still doing this, because it looked like for a while a lot of games like this were going to come, like the cinematic platformer kind of was coming back into fashion, and that just died a tragic death. Like there was this, and that's it. Because trust me, I played a bunch of them, and there's nothing. And so this one was so great, and I just want more people to play it. And I'm gonna stop there because I could talk about this for 2 years. So I'm good.
I probably won't play it. I'm not the Prince of Persia guy that you are. I didn't fall in love with it when I was a kid, and these kind of games just never quite stuck. What is it about Prince of Persia that does it? Because I don't understand, and I know it's very popular and people love it.
So I just want to say that, like, I say cinematic platformer, but it's much more the aesthetic and the kind of thematic and the narrative stuff that's influenced by that. Gameplay wise, it's a straight up 2D action platformer Metroidvania. Like it plays really smooth. It plays great. It's not like super slow and heavy and deliberate and things like that. I do want to make that clear. Sorry, I got a little excited. It's more the narrative.
Just simmer down there, Mike.
Yeah, the cinematic platformer is much more from the point of view of like the kind of story it tells and how it tells it, not as much, actually playing the game.
Yeah,
and and it is. Yeah, I think it is coming to Game Pass. I think I saw that. Yeah, that it might be coming to Game Pass, so people might be able to check it out if they're in a Game Pass.
You're joking. Game Pass has no games. So.
Wow, I don't know about that. But when it comes to the original, and I'll be honest with you, Paul, like I've never finished the first Prince of Persia, and to me, those games, they capture my imagination as much as, they're actually like, oh man, I can't wait to play more of old school Prince of Persia. Like to me, it's just there was never something that captured me so much. Like Karateka was the first game I remember playing and just being absolutely fixated on. Like I was just looking at it like, this is telling a story. Like it can tell a story. Like it was, up until then I had been making up all the stories in my head. So when I was playing a game, and so seeing the game itself do that, and when it's about, fucking karate, fucking, like it's about that shit. It's fucking dope, and so I think that's what captured my imagination initially. And like the thing with Prince of Persia, again, it channels that cinematic flair of like playing as this hero in a way that other games just didn't do. And I think part of that was the rotoscoping and the realistic animations and stuff like that. And also it was just ubiquitous, man. It was everywhere. Like
every platform
got a port to everything, right?
The Resident Evil 4 of its time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dude, even the TurboGrafx CD had a copy of Prince of it was everywhere. And John just wrote on Twitch chat that yes, it is actually on Game Pass right now. So he's adding it to his list. He's gonna play it later. So you got one person out there that you can eventually nerd out with over this game, Mike.
Woohoo!
So Kelly, I got to get to you sometime. I don't know when is appropriate for you. I'm kind of like, dancing on the landmines here, but I think we're going to go with you.
Whenever. Yes. Okay. That's fine. For me, game that's been in my backlog for quite a while. It actually came out with a newer edition that I played it came out in 2020. But I originally started this game on the Wii, got through about 5 hours of it and moved on to something else. A couple years later, got back to it, put 40 hours into a save, and then moved away from the game again. Then the beginning of 2021, I was in Oregon, and I had just finished, I was on a vacation there for 2 weeks, and I finished Trials of Mana like 2 days into my vacation there. And there was only one other game I had brought with me, and that was Xenoblade Chronicles, the definitive edition.
Yep.
And I decided third time was a charm. We've got to get through this game.
Gotcha.
Ended up spending 70 hours on this game. So
wow.
Unlike Mike's game, not a game that you can finish in an afternoon for sure. Very in-depth.
But still, less than 100 hours. I call that a win.
Yeah, a lot of people say they have
This is where we are now.
A lot of people have spent more than 100 hours in this game.
Yeah.
For me, I decided, because this was the third time, and I was like, I cannot drop this game again. Especially with the past history, 5 hours, then 40 hours.
Yep.
This time I get
Sure.
60 hours into it and drop it. Dear God, no. So I decided all those side quests, skip them. Just if the side quest made me go more than 2 seconds out of my way to find the monster or anything else, I was like, no, we've got to power through the main game, get to the end, and see this ending. And because Xenoblade, Xenogears, Xenosaga, they've all been games that I've loved, so I just wanted to see this one through to the end.
Yeah.
And the story, I did enjoy the story a lot. It's not the end-all be-all that some people seem to say it is, but it was a very enjoyable story. The characters were great, and I loved the fact that the voice acting was British versus the American. It added a little bit of a flair to it that I enjoyed.
They're taking all our fucking jobs, those Brits, man.
One of the games, that and The Last Story, are two games that I actually think I prefer playing with the dubs over playing with the Japanese VO, because it's so good.
Yeah, but the sound as well was amazing. The soundtrack, I had a lot of enjoyment with that. And it was just fun to finally see it all come together and get through that game.
Gotcha.
And still haven't gotten to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Hopefully someday that will happen. But
I think you're forgetting a game in between here.
Oh.
But I mean,
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
That's right, baby.
Yes.
Arnie, did you play that one? Did you play X?
Fuck no, I didn't play it.
Oh, okay, good. You had me there for a moment. I'm like, this motherfucker never played this game. Like, what is he even talking about? And X
but everybody always
supposed
forgets
to
about
be...
that one. I feel sad because all the other games are like, everybody's like, oh, this is great, and this one's just like sitting on the Wii U, just chilling.
It's like one of the very few Wii U exclusive games left.
Yeah.
At this point. I have no idea why they haven't brought it over, because the other two games.
I thought that got announced. Is that a fever dream?
Oh, really?
Did I imagine that it got
Maybe you had hypothermia.
They're making could be. They announced that they are making a 3, and they're expecting a release either at the end of this year or
I hope
next
you
year,
have
but...
2 and you have the expansion pack. That's like
she does.
fucking $1 million now.
Why, I do.
Oh, good.
Damn it.
I have the collector's edition even.
Oh,
nice.
Good for you. Because I
got on clearance even.
Are you fucking serious? Jesus. Because I finally got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive, and I started on the Wii, maybe played 5-6 hours, got distracted, and now I want to play it, but I'm like, man, I hope this game sucks, so I don't want to play the second one because it costs $1 million.
Well, it's always digital, right?
Yeah, that's true.
At this point for the expansion, it's.
I'm gonna put 300 gigabytes on my freaking Switch now. How big is the expansion?
I don't think it's.
I don't know.
How the fuck are the Call of Duty expansion, fucking download things 500 gigabytes? How is that even possible?
I don't know. I think they just don't care about optimization. I really don't think so. I think it's just cranking that stuff up. Yeah. Mike's shaking his head. He obviously knows more than I do about this stuff.
Now
I don't know. I'm not sure it's...
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That to say that I'm just scared of downloading anything digitally that's not a 2D indie game that lasts an hour. Anything more than that, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a 500,000 terabyte download. I'm never gonna. It's gonna crash my entire console.
So
I'm fine with downloading the huge games on PC, but I'm the same with console. It's indie games only.
Yeah, exactly. So worth the wait then, right? Going back to Xenoblade Chronicles.
Very much so.
Okay.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it really that much? Man, is it? What kind of improvements are we looking at over the Wii version? And I started phrasing it in that voice because I have Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, and I don't want to buy another one. So I was like, so I'm like, is it really that much better? But no, but seriously though, is it really that much better?
The graphics are a huge improvement.
Yeah.
So just because of the block. If you take a look at the old blocky
huge
faces,
or just slight.
So here's the thing. I'm just gonna say it. I've seen it on Switch and I've seen it on Wii. Me personally, I think the Wii looks so much better because the draw, like when you it's one of these things where when it's in HD, you see the faults so much more. And whereas on the Wii, they knew how to leverage and kind of work with what their limitations were. So yes, it looks a lot crunchier and it looks a lot like a lot less HD and defined. But what is there, I think the atmosphere is a lot stronger. And that's like a total personal thing with me. You do have to remember as well that 100% of the time I am playing in handheld mode. Yeah. So
okay.
So maybe
it could also affect my opinion
Paul,
of
as somebody who hasn't played the game and has been established, always has good takes on this show, I think you should say fuck the Wii version, fuck the Switch version. Go get yourself a new Nintendo 3DS.
Oh God,
buy
you can
yourselves
do that too.
The new Nintendo 3DS version of it.
That's Xenoblade Chronicles X, not the original Xenoblade Chronicles.
It is.
No. Xenoblade
came
out on 3DS. Yeah.
Well, boy, have I ever been corrected. So I actually thought it was X. Wow. So nonetheless, I still won't be doing that. I won't be doing that. No.
The other thing with the Switch version is they did make it so that the quests complete upon grabbing everything versus having to go back to the quest giver and
I can't remember. Can you use the Wii Pro controller for the Wii version, or is it motion controllers only?
I want to say you could use the
I think you can, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
It's been so long.
Somebody will yell at us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will.
And then the other big change is that they did make a few balance adjustments to the bosses.
Nice.
So there was one boss right near the beginning that I can remember I was dreading getting to this boss again because I was like, God damn, he's going to kill me 4 or 5 times and I'm going to have to go level up on stupid shit for a while. And nope, killed him. And I was like, yes. And then I looked and it was like, oh, there was a balance change. I was like, well, now I don't feel as awesome. I thought maybe I was just a better gamer, but...
Yeah. That's right. Okay, there's your out, Paul. Since you're not a baby gamer that plays games for babies, you'll play the Wii version.
I
nailed it.
I was on the exact same train of thought. I'm like, sweet. I can be like, did you beat it? Oh, you beat the Switch version? Oh, good for you. I beat the Wii version.
Oh, Babby's for Xenoblade.
Right.
And then you can go back and play Xenogears and have fun with that one.
Oh, I won't be doing that. I won't be doing that.
The man who plays Vagrant Story but will not play Xenogears.
Dude, Xenogears, I think I dropped it. It's one of the few RPGs I dropped after like 30 to 40 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't, and I think I've said it on this show before, but you couldn't change the text speed. So, and the text speed in Xenogears was slow. And so I just remember sitting there, like, I think I died and had to go do something or like watch another cutscene again. And I was just sitting on my couch with my head lolled backwards, like, hurry up. And then I just gave up. I'm like, I can't wait for people to talk anymore. It was just, the game would be half as long if they could just fix the goddamn text
combat
speed
too,
but
yeah.
Arnie, non-2021 game of the year.
Non-2021. Oh, I don't know, man. It was difficult. Usually it's very easy for me to pick out one of the backlog games I play that was like, oh, this one's good. Like better than all the other ones. But this year I really tried to like buckle down and tackle a lot. So I got like Super Metroid on there. I've got Earthbound on there.
Oh, I forgot about Earthbound.
Untitled Goose Game, which I really loved. Ninja Baseball Batman, which I played on my Legends Ultimate Arcade and I really loved.
Yes.
You know, so, but ultimately, like, it's Earthbound. Like, I played it the most. I had a ton of fun with it. We did a whole fucking episode on it, so I really didn't want to talk about it. But
I know what you mean.
I can't not say it's Earthbound, right?
Yeah.
So it's Earthbound, but honestly, for me, it was just a solid overall year. Like, I was looking at this list and I was like, damn, dude, like, I played like Sayonara Wild Hearts. I played, Strange Journey Redux, which is not great, but it's also not terrible. Like, there's not a game on there. Like, I played Ratchet and Clank. I played Jak and Daxter. Like, I played a lot of games that I should have, like, played a long time ago. and last year I was just like, fuck it, man. Let's just do it. But Earthbound sort of stands head, shoulders, and baseball cap above the rest very easily.
Yeah, and I'm gonna cut you off a little bit here just because we're running a little bit long in this segment. But
go for it.
I honestly, there was one game where it was just so obvious that I didn't even think of anything else. Like I was just like, all right, this is a shoe-in. But now that you mentioned Earthbound, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a fun episode. It was a fun, quote unquote research. Yep. And I was so happy to have finally played it. It really actually, it's one of the rare, 16-bit era games that actually exceeded expectations, after playing it now. So
an expensive game that's not worth it, but you understand why it's expensive.
Yeah, you totally understand why. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, with all that said, for me, it's Sayonara Wild Hearts, and honestly, it's not even close. Like,
wow.
Yeah, man. Like that was an unforgettable gaming experience. I remember what happened. I remember what shift I was working that day when I got home, how Christy interrupted me with dinner, how I was pissed off that she interrupted me because I was like halfway through, but then I felt guilty for being pissed off because my wife cooked me dinner. So there was just this, like wide range there. And as soon as I finished it that evening, I played it again from beginning to end. Like I loved it so much. And
Queen Latifah, best voiceover in gaming 2021.
Really? Oh yeah, of course. There's no question. But like, and then I think a week later or 2 weeks later, I was like, Christy, you gotta come play this game. Like she hates video games, but I'm like, you have to play this. And she came down, she loved it. To put it in perspective, my buddy Andrew, he played it about a month ago. And what he did, he's got a projector set up as well in his place. Ooh. So one afternoon, he turned on the projector, bought Sayonara Wild Hearts, got stoned, and he texted me later and he was like, man, that was one of the greatest gaming experiences of my life. Because he just cranked up the volume and was immersed in it. I can't say enough. That game is a short and very, very sweet experience. I
remember grizzled Canadian outdoorsman by day, anime motorcycle girl who dances and sings lover by night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she is so cool. Because the way she moves, like on that motorcycle, the poses, she is just, I want to be her. She's awesome. Yeah. So
not an advocate for road safety. She stands on the bike several times. You're not supposed to do that.
No, you're not. But when you do it that gracefully, how do you not? You're just kind of wasting your talent otherwise.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, that's how it is for me. Earthbound probably a close second. But Sayonara Wild Hearts for me is my non-2021 game of the year. That one came out 2019. Oof. And the developer Simogo out in, I think it's Sweden. I think they're Swedish. Mm-hmm. They've gone on the record disappointing me greatly, saying that there will be no sequel. They are only working on new, gaming experiences and so on.
But
I'm
Paul,
like,
how can you build upon perfection? That's the question.
I'm happy to have played it. I'm happy to have experienced it.
Same here.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. So we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk about our most pleasant gaming surprises of the previous year. All right, everyone, we're back. And so now, as suggested by Mike only a few days ago, the first time we're doing this category, our most pleasant gaming surprises of the previous year. I'm actually going to start us off. And
oh, sweet.
I'm going to start us off because I had a surprise in mind. it was difficult for me to think of one. And then I just went downstairs on break here just to have a look in the game room and be like, and really have a good look. And then it hit me like a slap in the face what my biggest surprise of the year was. And it wasn't like a game, even though several games were better than I expected, but the Analog Super NT and the Analog Mega SG. I finally got those systems this year because it was time. You know, I love having the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis there, especially the Sega Genesis, the Model 1. It just looks so nice. I love looking at it. You know, it's
that
such
streak
a sharp
of red right on the top.
Oh my god, and the font for the Genesis.
Yeah, it says 16-bit on it.
High definition graphics,
right.
Arnie. High definition. It says right on the system. So that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
But I figured,
sexy ass console.
I kind of wanted like an HDMI solution, et cetera, right? And it was Ryan, aka Living in Bits, our loyal listener from Toronto, who convinced me on Discord. He's like, no, you have to get it. And I was waffling. I'm like, do I really want this thing? You know, it's expensive, et cetera. He's like, no, you have to have it.
Finally,
like,
somebody brave enough to slap you down from your ivory tower of not buying everything you see.
Right.
Bring you down to the level of us plebs.
Who must purchase all.
That's right.
So I got it in the mail. I started with the Super NT and then got the Mega SG after that. And then I also...
Can I just say,
yeah,
surprising order that you chose. I would have sworn you would have gotten the Mega Drive first.
I got what was available first.
I see.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, the Super NT became available first, then the Mega SG. So it was in that order. And I got it in the mail, and I don't think I hooked it up for like a month. It sat there almost like my PS5 was sitting in the kitchen for 5 weeks.
Classic.
And I finally hooked it up. And I think the first game I played on it was Super Star Wars.
Oh.
And I was floored. I was floored. I couldn't believe how good it looked. I was expecting crisp graphics, right?
Yeah.
No fuzziness. You can add scan lines. You can add a little bit of fuzz here, but like I wanted to see super crisp graphics, and that's what I got. They're extremely crisp. It's almost like you're playing with RGB, right? With S-card cables.
Yeah.
What I didn't expect was the huge upgrade in vibrancy and color. That was a big surprise. It leaps out of the screen. It looks so good. These old games now, like, I mean, look, you can get an SNES mod at any which way, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't want to go through the effort of finding someone or doing it yourself, you can probably pay a little bit more, because the kits aren't cheap either for these mods, for these systems. I've looked, man. GameCube, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
You spend a little more, you get this Super NT, and it looks sharp. Same thing with the Mega SG. They look really good. I was shocked. I honestly, I expected to get it in the mail. I expected to plug it in. And then because they hold their value so well, I expected, honestly, probably I would put it on eBay in a year or something like that. And that is not the case, man. These systems are really good. So.
Nice. What models did you get? Like, did you get the Super Family version, or?
I got the OG SNES, the gray and purple. I think, nice. Kelly, which one did you get? Like flat black, was it?
I got the black one just because it matches
the
everything
smoke
else
black that's like translucent or something.
No,
it's just a black. That one I think was a limited edition from earlier.
I see.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to try it, Kelly?
Oh yeah. I've played Super Mario World, and I'm getting ready to play Soul Blazer on it. So hoping to. Nice. That's one game I really want to beat this year. So that's definitely
nice.
the
Kelly starts off with something normal like Super Mario World. Paul is like, let me just punish myself immediately after getting this thing.
And I was going to ask, what about the Genesis? What was the first one you popped in?
Oh, Lightning
Thunder
Force
4. Oh,
Thank
Lightning
you.
Force.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Lightning Force.
Arnie, you're correct. I'm wrong. Thank you for correcting me. It's Thunder Force 4. Thunder Force 4 is the first game that I put in there. And it looks phenomenal. It sounds really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
that intro was going.
Oh my!
Scrolling and you're like, oh my god,
the
here it
thing
comes.
the thing is that
so hype.
Because he got the Super NES one first, he knew how good the Mega Drive one was going to be. If he had gotten the Mega Drive first and he was still on the fence about it, he probably would have thrown like Comic Zone or some shit in there and been like, "Oh, wow, this is really good."
Yeah, no, it's true, man. And it's unfortunate because the Mega SG by default was less impressive because I knew what to expect from it. Whereas the Super NT, and they're the same, right? Like there's no one is better than the other. But the Super NT was legitimately shocking. I did not expect it to look that good. So
nice.
Yeah, so
there
we go.
Are you getting the Turbo Duo that they're coming out with, or you want it? I guess is the question.
If I have an opportunity to get it, like if I can get in there before other people, yes, I desperately want that one. I want that one more than any other one. For various reasons, mainly because of the region-free nature of it, right?
Fair.
It's just going to be so much easier to have an all-in-one kind of solution because you don't need, if you want to play arcade card games on the Analog Duo. You can do it without actually owning a physical arcade card. Like right now, what I have to do is, in order to play Sapphire, the last shoot 'em up released, I think, on the Duo, super expensive one. I have a repro of it. If I want to play that, I have to jump through a bunch of hoops. Like I have to hook up my arcade card. I have to hook up the PC Engine because my Turbo Duo isn't region free. And like it's there's a lot of hoops to jump through, whereas with the Analog Duo, it's not just the graphical improvements but also the ease of use. It's going to be really nice when it comes out in 2025.
I thought I did not get the Analog Pocket, and I kind of regret it because I've seen that they've done like conversion kits for other like carts. Like I think there's like a Game Gear one, and I'm pretty sure they have a Turbo one, or they said that they were gonna have one. So I was like, fuck, that would have been the thing I want, because I don't necessarily need a Turbo Duo for my Zero Turbo CD games, but if I could play like Ninja Spirit on the train or something,
first one I thought of, Ninja Spirit.
That.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I pre-ordered the Pocket.
Feels good to have a company we can shill for, you know?
Yeah,
feels nice.
And get zero.
I can't wait until they do something terrible in like 2024 or something. When one of the founders like drunk drives over somebody or something.
So positive.
I know, right? Where is this even going from? Arnie, your pleasant surprise of last year.
Hey, my pleasant surprise. I had to think about it as well, and it wasn't until I was looking through the games that I was playing again that I realized my pleasant surprise of this year was getting into visual novels, which is a thing, and I knew Kelly was going to appreciate this. I've been really wanting to get into the genre for a while. I've had a few games that like I've had forever that I'm just like, oh, maybe not, blah, blah. And then what really pushed me over the edge, which is, I would ask Kelly's expertise on whether these qualify or not, but the Nonari games really like got my feet wet in that aspect. And then Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck. Chef's kiss.
Best game ever.
Who's going to do the outline for the Hatoful Boyfriend episode? Is it going to be Kelly or is it going to be Arnie?
Me.
It looks like Arnie really wants.
We're going to talk about every pigeon. Pros
why
and
don't
cons.
we? Why don't we?
Who's your favorite pigeon tiers? Pigeon tier list.
That's right. But yeah, no, because I had before this, I had played Doki Doki Literature Club, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
but that seemed like such a one-off to me. Like that seemed like this is not what I normally hear people talk about when they talk about visual novels. And now with things like the House of in Fata Morgana or of Fata Morgana, I don't even know.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
I really want to get that. Because I'm like, oh, it's another like spooky one. I want to do that. Like this is the horror game I can play where like, you know, things don't jump out at me actively. So I don't have to like run away. But yeah, no, like it's a genre that I've really wanted to get into. I've got or maybe they're like hybrids, but isn't Utawawa isn't that like a
Underwater
visual...
Ray Romano?
That's right.
It's like a hybrid.
Oh, well done.
So I've got
Underwater Ray
a few
Romano. It is absolutely a visual novel with a Final Fantasy Tactics, a passable Final Fantasy Tactics minigame in it. I recommend it.
Yeah, 421 Shibuya Scrambles on my list.
Yeah.
Like that one's got visual novel-y aspects to it. So like slowly but surely I'm getting into like, I hope by the end of the year I'll just be straight up reading novels with like anime pictures on them, So I'll have to get Kelly to like send me a list of things I need to play so I can finally, check another genre off my list. But this was something that I'm really excited about now, because like whenever you get into a new genre, it's the best thing ever, because it's I get to play all the good games and everybody can tell me what the shit ones are that I shouldn't play. I don't have to do any of the experimenting myself.
But then you play them enough and you love it enough that then you play the shit ones.
Yeah,
too.
then you start buying the shit ones on accident.
Just so you can complain with everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this new chapter in my life.
Very good.
If you like the spooky stuff, Deathmark and Enchi Spirit Hunter, man.
He has Deathmark.
I have it on. I have a sealed collector's Vita edition that I got for like $8 at GameStop once, but then I bought it on Steam on sale, so I'm gonna play it on Steam.
Yeah, I have both of those too. I have it on Steam and on Vita as well. So.
Who infected who? I say Kelly infected Arnie with this.
100%.
Keep it sealed, then buy it on Steam.
100%.
Well, I think for me it was like part of a 5-game bundle, and it was like, well,
that's exactly what happened to me. It came with like White Day or one of the Yomawari ones.
I think we bought the same bundle.
Yeah, we sure did. It was like $5 or something. I was like, oh hell yeah!
I think Tokyo Xanadu was on part of that too.
I have that one too. It's like a fanatical thing or something. I remember that.
Be still my heart. Tokyo Xanadu.
I need to play that too. Fuck. But yeah, visual novels. Call me I don't know. What do they call people who are into visual novels? Weebs?
Literate? No, I'm kidding. Because Ozzy's literate and he can't stop talking about how much he hates visual novels.
Right.
I feel like you have to. I feel like your Lexile level has to be like within a certain range. Like if you're too high up, if you've read too many novels, you're like, fuck this. If you're too low, then you're like, there's too many words for me.
I've read a ton of novels, and sometimes it's just nice to take a break and have
that's fair enough too,
and have like the picture already there on the screen instead of 15 pages worth of prose of what the scene looks like.
You're absolutely fucking right, Kelly, because I tried to read The Fellowship of the Ring and I was like, man, if Tom Bombadil was like a sexy anime man, I would have kept reading this book.
If the portraits are coming up and they were like, you shall, it doesn't move, it's just Gandalf with his arms up, you shall not pass, and then the Balrog is static and it just shakes.
If like Gandalf had like sick biceps and the Balrog had like an 8-pack and like sad eyes, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm so invested
good.
right now.
So good. It's true.
All right. Arnie's pleasant surprise is that he learns how to read. So that's great.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm proud.
Kelly, your turn.
Ooh, I'm going to be sappy. I'm going to say that my pleasant surprise of 2021 was becoming part of an excellent podcast.
Oh, boo.
Oh my god. This is the best and the worst, because like my first instinct is to boo because I don't know what that says about me, and then my next instinct is to be like, aw, yay.
No, and my first instinct was like, fuck, I should have said that. That should have been me.
Damn it. Your pleasant surprise would be suddenly discovering you've been doing this for 4 years.
Yeah. No, my pleasant surprise would be telling you guys that so you like me more.
Oh man,
instead of hiding the secret truth that I'm plotting against all of you.
Oh. Anyway, please continue, Kelly, because I have a feeling that you're going to say nice things about me, so I really want to hear them.
No, it's just been great getting to know you guys better and just talking about games, the few game nights that we've had, and Paul and his bucket.
Oh, fuck, dude. R.I.P. To the SS, we sunk that shit way too many times.
I think we should stream those nights. Sorry, because
I know I'm thinking the same thing.
The people demand it. I think seeing you in Sea of Thieves in your buckets.
And the sudden appearance of a sea monster and our complete and utter ineptitude in dealing with said sea monster. What do we do?
And then, of course, the fact that I had played so many hours beforehand, so I had all this decked out, awesome gear, and
me and Paul were nude.
Skivvies.
Yep.
Oh man. So, what do you want to? What are you looking forward to then on the show?
What am I looking forward to? You guys just giving me more ideas of what games to play, and just having more episodes where we deep dive into. Well, for me, it's mostly JRPGs, but just the deep dives.
Just say the Chrono Cross episode. I know that's what you want to say.
The Chrono Cross, and we have to put Radical Dreamers.
That's true. We have to do Radical Dreamers as well. We left so much on the table there. What the fuck were we thinking?
Yes.
Like,
that was such a good episode. We were thinking that it was nice and tight, and I have no regrets about not
hours.
Yeah.
No, I meant like, what were we thinking? Looking at Chrono Trigger and being like, "Yeah, we can't talk about this for 2 hours. Impossible."
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's how I feel with just about any topic. Like, which topic was it? Where I was like. It was collecting. I was like, oh, I don't know if there's enough information here for 2 hours. And
there was
we're like,
cheese in the bag.
Yeah, cheese in the bag.
That's our first T-shirt right there. Cheese in the bag for
everybody. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Mike is going to have a different pleasant surprise than you, Kelly.
Yeah,
but,
man.
Oh my god, would I have loved it if, because I asked you first, you beat him to it? That would have been...
Yeah,
that would have been
you
great.
won this round, Kelly.
Why do you think I wanted to go last round?
I'm screwed. I can't, it's like, if I say anything but, well, actually, the real surprise is all the friends I made along the way.
There we go.
Like if I don't say that, I'm an asshole. But if I do say that, it's like, oh my god, he just stole her. He just stole her idea. Like did he even think of something?
What does it say about us that in 4 years of doing this and so many people that have been on these episodes, we've never once thought about saying something like that? Like, it would never cross our minds to say something.
Never. It never even... You're correct, Arnie. It has never even crossed my mind to say something nice. Like, what an awful piece of shit I am. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness.
Go off, Mike.
Okay.
I'll try to. But Mike, before we get to you, I will try to make up for it. I will say, Kelly, it has been a pleasure having you on. I'm looking forward to the next year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So.
Oh yes.
Hear, hear.
Mike.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have decided that I'm going to stick with a game because I think if I sort of talk about anything else other than a specific game, it's going to go on way too long. And I really wanted to talk about this specific game, and that's Pyre. So I played Pyre this year.
Wow, I'm excited.
Leaped out of his chair.
So I played Pyre. Supergiant's Pyre, Pyre. So I played Pyre this year. I played a little bit of context real quick. I played Hades for the first time. I still haven't beaten Hades. I played it for a couple hours. And I think I don't think this is a weird opinion to have, but as much as Supergiant is awesome and they get a lot of props, rightfully so, I don't think it's an uncommon opinion that like a lot of people have been like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's always good what they do, but it's never like great. Mm-hmm. It's never like, there's always something a little missing, it feels like.
Yeah.
And Hades, I think, was the first game where objectively everyone was like, oh my God, they did it.
Yes.
Masterpiece.
Yes.
It's incredible. And I played it for a couple hours and I was like, holy shit, it's true. Like, this is it. It's like worth the hype. It's the real deal. And that made me, because of my ADHD stupid fucking brain, it made me go, okay, maybe I missed something. You know, I didn't play through their earlier stuff. Maybe I missed something. And so I went back and I played all their stuff, which, by the way, is always going on sale.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to try, and for like, and not even like 10%, I'm talking like 70, 80, 90% off.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just spend the $2 and get Bastion, bro. Throw him some money, man. Like, Bastion's, you know. So
I feel like I'm being personally attacked right now.
Yeah. So I tried So I played through Bastion, really enjoyed it. Realized that Supergiant do something that a lot of JRPGs do, which I know we all know, is that they use fancy language to describe things that are simple, and it makes you think it's more complicated than it is. I don't mean this is a bad thing, because I think it sets up the tone in the world.
Yeah.
But I started playing Bastion, and I was like, oh man, this sounds really complicated. There's like city building. Like, no. Like, you beat a level, you get a house.
Yeah.
And you collect those things. That's money. Just spend the money. Like, so Bastion, I ended up enjoying. I was like, that was cool. And then I played Transistor. Didn't enjoy Transistor as much.
Yeah.
Kind of. And so then I was like, by the time I got to Pyre was the one I was the least excited about. I was like, man, Pyre's like dodgeball. It's like handball. What the hell am I doing? Like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work. And then I played it, and it was easily, along with my game of the year, like it was hard to pick which one was which.
Oh, wow.
Because I came away from Pyre loving it so much, and Pyre does something that I'm gonna spoil the end right now of my feelings, not of the game, but Pyre to me succeeds at something better. It succeeds where every other game has failed, or it does something better than any game that tries to do it has ever done, and that's marry the narrative kind of theme, what you're doing, with exactly what you're doing in game.
Okay.
Lots of games like to say they do this. Sometimes they do, but nothing is as much as Pyre does it. It's unreal how much it all feeds into each other like a loop of cool. Like what you're doing in game, literally what you're doing in game, the decisions you make in the game itself are influencing what the narrative is, and the narrative influences what you're doing in the game. And it's basically, and they accomplished all this. Greg Casavin, who's the lead writer, accomplished all this with a game about handball. Like, it's handball, okay? And so when I was playing it, I was like, it's basically a game where you're a professional handball team on tour. That's the game, okay? And you're going from location to location, playing handball games. And he manages to make that through this world that he's created and the mechanics that these guys have done and all the characters. He manages to make that, like, to me, if they had a course on writing in games, this is 101. This is a case study. This should be studied, okay? It's that good. How good he created this world and these characters, and how what you do actually is like narratively what the game is sort of about. And to me, it's insane. Like it got to me so hard, man. Like it just hit me right in the heart as I was playing it. And when I finished it, I was like, oh my God, I didn't want it to end. Wow. I was like, I don't want it to end. I want to stay here. And I think the thing is like, it's so hard to talk about without getting into any kind of spoilers. But let me just say it this way, and this might make people interested, because, and also my brother's listening, I'm talking him into playing it. I'm like, you got to play it. Like you have to, because a friend of his played it, and it was so funny because he says, oh my God, you never shut up about Pyre. And a coworker of mine played it too. And he said, oh my God, did your brother play Pyre? And I was like, yeah. And his coworker was like, it's amazing. Like, and he started gushing about it too. And my brother was like, oh my God, you guys gotta shut up. But like, it's this idea of like, if I could play Pyre again, I wouldn't care if I win or lose. I'll just say that. Yeah. Because the whole point of the game is that none of that matters. It's something else that matters, and that's the beauty of that game, is that this guy created a game where it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Everything connects to the narrative. Everything makes sense. Everything reinforces itself. And it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. And so to me, I love Hades. I'm sure I'm going to love it when I play it. But I think no matter what, Pyre is always going to be, objectively, Hades will be the best, but Pyre is going to be my love.
Yeah.
Nice.
Number one in your heart.
Yeah. I can't wait to try it. Honestly, like hearing you talk about it, because like here's the thing. One of the other non 2021 games of the year that was up there, and I talked about how Earthbound was number 2, but before I remembered Earthbound, actually my number 2 was Observation. And
oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
and Observation was because you recommended it to me, Mike, as something very different. And
glad you liked it.
Now that you've mentioned Pyre and you're talking about it in this way, like I'm gonna play Pyre. Like there's just no question about it. It's been on the radar for a while, strictly because it's a Supergiant game, but also like strangely the Supergiant game that kind of flew under the radar. Like I see Bastion and Transistor recommended to me all the time. Transistor's on sale, Bastion's on sale, Transistor's on sale, like over and over and over. Never Pyre.
I know that part of it is because part of it is the exclusivity, right? Like for a while it was only on PlayStation 4, and I know there's a Steam version now, but for a while it was a Sony exclusive.
Gotcha.
And so not a lot of people checked it out because again, Bastion was like a huge Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah.
And
on the
Xbox
Vita
Live
too. I
Arcade's
remember a lot of people
days,
playing it
right?
on the Vita.
Yeah. So but like Pyre is, and it's also because it's such a weird game to describe. Whereas, Transistor and Bastion, it's a little easier. But Pyre is like, so it's handball? And it's like, yeah, it's handball, but it's so much more than that. And they're like, yeah, but it's just handball. And I'm like, no, but so it's like, there's that element of it too, I think. But it's like, and also because it's, I don't want to say it's a slow burn, because I do think it's compelling right from the get-go, but it takes a little bit until I'll just say you kind of do one tour of duty before the game opens up and then goes, okay, here you go. Like, so it's a little guided at first, so it kind of feels weird. Yeah. So I think a lot of people were like, oh, this feels a little strange, but if you try it, let me know. I'm excited if you decide to give it a shot. And I'm stoked you liked Observation, man.
Yeah, no. Observation was a very pleasant surprise. It was pleasant surprise is the wrong word. Observation was everything I hoped it would be. It was everything I expected, and it did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. So
playing it in October also delivered a little extra sense of dread.
I don't know why Greg Kasavin, the writing is so, I'm sorry, tangent. The writing is so good that I make jokes, but I'm serious. If I met Greg Kasavin, I'd be like, why are you still even doing this? Like, just stop. You did it. Like, you did it. You wrote like the perfect video game. Like, I have in terms of narrative.
I have $1 million mod idea for you, Mike, that you and me can go in on. What if we do a Pyre mod where it's the same game, but you play Blitzball instead?
Well, yeah. And we're the announcers.
Yes, 100%.
Nice.
Oh, it was a good idea until...
Well, I don't. No. You don't understand, Paul. I don't know the rules of Blitzball at all.
That's
so it's gonna be great.
Oh wow.
The other mod idea I had was to make it Windjammers, which I also think would be good.
Oh, sweet. Not bad.
Oh, telling you, I've got ideas, man. I'm wasted here.
No.
All right. On that note, we'll take a break. When we come back, maybe a little bit more of a somber tone, perhaps. Our biggest disappointments of 2021. All right, everyone, we're back. And we're back with the sad part of the episode. Kelly, tell me, what was your biggest gaming disappointment of 2021?
This is a game that I've been meaning
Was it
to
the
talk
podcast? Was it like the pleasant surprise and the most disappointing thing?
Oh,
It was the
so
most
good.
disappointing
Kelly just
thing
pulls
of
up like a
2021.
reverse Uno card, and she's like, motherfucker.
Screw you guys, I'm out.
Yeah,
No, there's a game that I've been meaning to talk about on this show since the first What Have You Been Playing
Yep.
I did on this show. That game would be Beyond Eyes. Beyond Eyes.
Oh boy.
A game so good, it makes you want to tear your eyes out because you're
Yeah,
beyond
pretty
eyes.
much. Or you wish you didn't have eyes. I don't know. This game was originally for the Xbox 360, was it? Or was it
Yeah, I
early
think
Xbox
so.
One? I can't even remember at
No,
this
I
point.
think it was Xbox 360.
But I just remember seeing it at an E3 and just seeing the gorgeous watercolor explosion of color as you were walking down, and it was a little girl who was blind and just seeing all this color for the first time.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, this game looks pretty good. When it comes out, Xbox exclusive, we're gonna have to play it.
It was, I believe it was Xbox One because it came out in 2015.
It feels like longer ago, honestly.
I know.
But and I just remember when it came out, I was like, I don't want to pay the price that it's at. I'll wait till it's on sale. And then it went on sale, and I was like, okay, I'll download it and not play it for years and years and years. I finally got to it last year in 2021. Fired it up. I was like, okay, because 2021 was the year I wanted to start actually completing a lot more of my backlog. So
Sure.
fired up this game, and I was disappointed in this game within, I'd say, 10, 15 minutes. Just the tropes that it used. You had your little girl who could see perfectly fine, and then she went and decided to play with fireworks, and whoops, fireworks explode in her face. She's blind,
Oh,
and all of a sudden she forgets what her house looks like. So in the very first level, she's at her house, and you have to go around the garden, and of course she can't walk more than a snail's pace with her arms, not even really out that much, but at a snail's pace, like she forgot what her house looks like
Okay.
in the layout of the house.
How long has she been living in this goddamn house?
I don't know.
Just
but
moved in.
Yeah, she's like,
So-
we moved in yesterday.
So they show her all depressed, and her only friend it happens to be a cat. So she comes, the cat comes along, and every few days, and they'll play together and everything. And then all of a sudden, the cat stops coming around. So she decides to go on a journey where she's going to go and find this cat and figure out what happened to it. And the entire game, you're just going at a snail's pace, and there's no other person with her at any point in time during this either. So she's walking across railroads, and she's going into these streets and everything else. And like no one's like trying to help her out or anything. She's just exploring on her own. The world does get very pretty and explodes in color, but there's one level where it starts to rain. And apparently, if you're blind and it starts to rain, you lose all sense of direction.
Oh, jeez.
According to this game, because the color explosion means you know where you're going and everything, but in the rain, as soon as you take 2 steps, that color is gone and you're in the dark again as to where you're
Okay.
going.
Oh, sweet.
So that level is just an episode in frustration trying to get through. And then when you finally get to the end, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the ending here. So if you really do not want to
But I was
know,
gonna play it,
waiting,
like-
I'm waiting.
I was gonna cut this
I'm
episode
waiting.
short to go play it.
I know what's gonna happen. No, I don't, but I'm so excited.
oh, of course, you end up in a graveyard.
Nice.
Oh,
And
okay.
on a tree branch is the cat collar. And the game ends.
So, oh
And-
my god.
Yeah, so
really?
yeah, so you're doing this whole journey, and the cat's dead at the end. There is one
That's
other
awesome.
sequence where another little girl is in her yard, and she throws a ball over the fence, and she has this blind girl go and fetch the ball and bring it back to her. It's just
What
like,
was this
Oh.
girl? Angelica Pickles? Like, what the
and this
fuck?
girl, it's just like, hey,
Rugrats.
get the ball. And, it's not really in any kind of discernible language. So, it's not like she's saying, go left, go right or anything. It's just like, hey, go get the ball for me. And it's like, what are you doing? Can't you get it yourself or help out? But at the end, the whole thing is she becomes friends with the girl, and yay, happy ending. She doesn't need the cat anymore, so on.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that cat.
That's something. You
Kelly,
know,
cat's dead.
Kelly, would it surprise you to know that this game did not meet its crowdfunding goal on Indiegogo in 2015?
Oh, I am shocked.
Salt.
It was actually Team 17 that picked it up. I remember this game from our Team 17 episode. We actually didn't talk about it, or I mentioned it very briefly. I mentioned it, and I feel like an idiot now, but I mentioned it as kind of like an innovative thing. You know, they're trying something new. Team 17's bringing like new stuff, and it's like... And then I heard you talk about it, Kelly, and Ozzy also, I think, said he hated it. And like, doesn't it all, I don't know, like, the problem is I'm not blind, so I can't really say, does it replicate the feeling of being blind? Because like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna hazard a guess that like colors don't explode in front of blind people when they walk around.
There's different types of blindness, right?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to be
I don't
an
think
asshole.
you forget that there's a wall 2 feet away from you when it starts to rain either.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. But another thing that was against this game is it's all about, you know, being blind and getting around and everything else. But if you're blind, you can't play this game. There's no way to, they didn't make any innovation so that it was by hearing or anything else.
Nice.
Or controllers vibrating or anything else.
Yeah.
It's just...
Which exists, by the way. I know there's a couple. I know there's a game recently that came out that's like a Dungeons and Dragons type. I think like visual. Oh, not visual. Sorry, my bad. But like a Dungeons and Dragons type audio adventure.
Oh, cool.
I remember one time an indie made. I mean, this was like an experimental game. Like you wouldn't be able to play it unless you had a very specific setup. But he had like a diving helmet that he stuffed with kind of like that he covered with like cloth so you couldn't see out of it, and you would put on the diving helmet and there would be like binaural audio playing, and you played as a diver with no light at the bottom of the sea.
Oh, that's fun.
And you had to use sort of like pings to kind of know where you were or where you were going. So
that's dope.
Yeah, I played Beyond Eyes. It's a piece of shit. It's bad. It's a bad game, dude. Like,
I would just like to say 60 out of 100 on Metacritic for PC and Xbox One, 52 on
well, then
PS4.
we're wrong, I guess.
IGN gave it a 5.5 out of 10.
How much they... Oh, yeah, God Hand got a 3? Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Some website named Game Revolution gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. PC Gamer in the US gave it a 75 out of 100.
So they played no other games that year? That seems weird.
Mixed reviews. Mixed reviews generally. Looks like some people did enjoy it.
I did get the full 1,000 achievements.
Oh,
and then I took the game and deleted it off my hard drive and immediately went to another Discord, and I was bitching about it within 5 minutes of finishing it.
No, you're legally, by getting all the achievements, you're legally not allowed to say you didn't like it.
I wasn't going to say it out loud, but thank you, Arnie.
No, disagree.
If you had left one achievement on the table, I'd be like, all right, you're good to go.
But at the same time, I've experienced the game in its entirety and can still say I can make that logical decision that it sucked.
Fair enough.
I'm 100% with you. I got all the achievements on American Ninja Warrior on Xbox One.
Oh,
that
dear
game is a
God.
piece of shit.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it was fun, though. I gotta say, it was fun. It was bad, but it was fun, at least. The best is, like, those games are amazing because there's only, like, 4 or 5 canned reactions. So you just hear the same guy go, "Booyah! He's heating up!" Like, 7 times in one run. I'm like, fuck. You can create your own gauntlets. And so I just created one that took 2 seconds to get by. They'd be like, "And we're off! It's a record!" Great game. So much fun. So much fun, man.
Why don't you
entertainment? God bless.
Mike, why don't you bring us something that wasn't fun from 2021?
Oh, yes. You bet. Okay, I have to remember that I always have to look at the name because I always forget it. Okay.
Oh, what an auspicious start.
I know.
Daedalus Awakening of Golden Jazz.
Oh, what?
Okay. It's a visual. Oh, see, Arnie.
Isn't this what's his fucking name?
Okay.
Jake Hunter fucking shit.
Yes.
I was actually looking at this on Steam the other day to buy it because it's like $2 or something.
Oh my god, Arnie, please don't. I got it for $2 too. I'm gonna tell you all about it right now. So just to give,
Mike will mail you $2 to not play it.
I will give you more than $2 to not play it. Seriously, I will. Okay, so just you know what? Just play the Nonary games again.
Yeah.
Just play them anyway. So just to set the context here, Jake Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay, Jake Hunter is a long-running series of visual novels that started in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, a lot of them are mobile titles.
Yep.
A couple of them were on DS. Yep. Only 2 games have come out stateside out of all of. We're talking. I think it goes back like maybe even 20 years by now. Okay, like it's been going a long time.
Series.
Going a long time. And 2 of the games came out in North America. One was a late release on DS. I think the other one was an earlier release. Technically 3, but one is kind of like a remix of...
Yeah.
Anyway,
like
whatever.
There's one on DS and there's one on 3DS. And the one on 3DS might have been like a remake of something. I don't remember.
Yes, yeah. And they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. They're very straightforward visual novels, like very straightforward. Like there's rarely choices, you know. It isn't a mystery, but it's mostly a traditional visual novel.
Yeah.
Kind of just going through. But Jake Hunter is super cool. You have a dedicated smoking button where you can light up and smoke a cigarette.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, let me just like go over what I know so far. And he's just like talking. You're like, man, this guy's sick, dude. And like, but
see,
the writing.
You know what I like about that, Mike? You know what I respect about that choice is they didn't fucking do like Metal Gear did and make it hurt you. They were like, no, smoking is fucking great, and you should do it right now.
No,
you should do it as often as possible. Because it makes you look
digital.
Cool.
Look, MGS5 has a digital cigar, so you can't talk shit about MGS about smoking because the digital cigar. All right, that's all you need to know. So anyway, so they're good. They're really good. I really recommend the 2 DS games because the writing's solid. They're fun to get through. The characters are cool. It's just like good old fashioned kind of noir mysteries, like Perry Mason kind of stuff. It's great. It's totally great. Well, you know, not Matlock. Perry Mason. Just bring back Matlock.
That's right.
Play the theme, Paul. Thank you very much.
I won't be doing that.
Don't do that. So imagine my surprise when they announced a reboot and they were like, hey, we're going to reboot the series. It's called Daedalus Awakening of Golden Jazz, and it's going to star Jake Hunter. Mm-hmm. It's set today, but Jake Hunter is going to be like a college age kid. Okay.
Loving it already.
And his grandfather who lives in New York City has passed, and he needs to get to the bottom of like how he died and the mystery around it. And I'm like, all right, okay. You know, that sounds kind of cool. Yeah. And so it has some pretty decent art direction that from afar looks kind of cool and looks striking because it's this mix of like really well done character portraits on actually real photorealistic backgrounds. Okay. So it's almost like, I guarantee I'm skipping ahead to some of the shit right now, but it's almost like a bad VR game where they only took one photo of everything around them and were like, okay, that's your environment, because it's just a static shot. So you're moving around and it's like a fisheye lens. It looks terrible, but the you know, and then they just have a 2D JPEG of the character like just it's anyway. So I start playing the game, and the demo is kind of cute because it's like, oh, you're a kid, and your grandfather is trying to teach you how to be a detective. And he basically creates this riddle where he's like, I can't find my lighter. Do you know where my lighter is? Because, again, the lighter, smoking is cool. And so
the only thing cooler than adult smoking is children smoking.
Is kids smoking.
Right.
It's true. So you have to engage with the mechanics at a basic level, look around the room, look for clues, and solve a little mystery of where his lighter is. So, and it was cute. So it was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. And the metaphor they use is you have to water the tree of your mind. So there's a tree UI and it has words from the investigation, and you water the tree and it bears fruit, the fruit of knowledge, and that lets you progress. So I was like, okay, this is pretty lame. It's not nearly as cool as whip open the Zippo and light a cigarette and tell me what's going on, but all right, fine. So here's the thing. I beat the first stage, which is the demo, by the way, and I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. I started playing more of the game. It was an opening game when you play as a kid at a camp, and I'm going to spoil it, but a counselor is dead, and you find out, okay, the whole time. And remember, all of the other stuff, it's like Perry Mason, okay, it's very like hard boiled. It's relatively grounded. There's not a lot of like, I'm fucking crazy, like people going on rampages and shit. It's very like, relatively realistic and toned down, okay. But in this game, it turns out that the murderer was one of the female counselors who was jealous of this girl.
Of course. And
pushed her into a wood chipper. What the fuck? I might be getting that wrong, but that's what happened. No, but remember, okay, when you find this out, you're a kid. You're a little kid. Okay, you're like 9 years old with your 9-year-old friends like Scooby-Doo, and you find that, okay? And then when you only realize as the girl is going to push you off a cliff that she's actually the murderer.
Dude, this never happened to Encyclopedia Brown. Like,
I know, and she's laughing she's laughing maniacally as she does this, like, I'm so fucking crazy. Like, she was trying to steal this guy, and now so I gotta kill you too. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is so not tonally right at all. And here's the thing is, that was just how bad the storytelling was. I didn't even tell you guys how boring the game is, because they made what I just said boring. Because they don't tell you where to go. There's no indication as to, like, you're given 10 different locations and there's no indication as to where to go. So I kept going in and out of places, which, by the way, took forever to load, which is amazing when you think about it. They're loading a JPEG, and that takes, I don't know. And so, do you know how many times I checked garbage cans in, like, the boys and girls, I'm blanking here, like the cabins where the kids stay, like, because there was just nowhere to go. There was nothing to do. I was like going every single location. I'm like, where do I go? Just something happened. And like, finally I got to this place, and then just something happened for no reason. It was just like, I need to find the counselor. And I went to every place and nothing. And I had to go, it did that thing where I went to every place and then there was a message saying, man, I can't find the counselor. Maybe I should go look at that place again. And I'm like, like, it was just, the whole game was that. And again, I'm sitting there and I'm like, guys, you had it. You made this game for 20 years. And then you had this chance to reboot it. And I can't, like, this isn't getting up to bat and striking out. This is getting up to bat. You shit your pants, run in the way of the pitch, and then run to third base, and then, safety tackle into the ball boy. Like, it's just literally the worst thing you could. It's terrible. Don't play it. No one play it. I got it for $2, and I want my $2 back.
When you were saying,
is it the same developer?
I didn't look into it any more than that because I was so angry.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was like, but let me like, I'm just going to check as you guys discuss.
When you were saying she pushed her, I was like, into a well, off a cliff, into traffic, into a hole full of spike. Wood chipper, not a word, not like even in the 100 first words I thought you were going to say.
Why is there a wood chipper at a summer camp? Why do these kids need a wood chipper?
It's either that, or it's in this guy's shed, who by the way, he's this grumpy old man, like who's like, oh, you kids stay out of my woodshed full of tools, and it's probably like a lawnmower or something. Like, dude, it was made by Arc System Works. It was made by a different division of Arc System Works, but it was made by the same people.
Awesome.
Okay.
The same studio who made the others, and like. The counselor wasn't like oh my God, this has got out of control. Like, I didn't, oh no, now it's got to go. She was like, I'm going to kill you. Yeah. I'm going to push you over the cliff because you're such a nosy little boy. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is so, what the fuck is going on?
I'm just imagining, Jake Hunter, again, like mid-drop record scratch, like, you might be wondering how I got here.
Yeah. Like, let me backtrack a little bit. Like, and it's just so. And again, he's a kid, and it was just such a crazy record scratch from like you play the Jake Hunter on Ghost of the Dusk on the DS, and it's like this classy noir, like, dripping with atmosphere, like all of these, like, discovering old secrets long buried, solving old mysteries. And then here it's just, I was jealous of this himbo, so I pushed this other girl into a lawnmower, and then I tried to murder anybody who found out by pushing them off a cliff. And I'm like, okay, like, what?
All right.
Sorry, we're done.
No, it's okay. The lesson we learned was, and what was the title? It rolls off the tongue. What was the title again?
Oh, yeah. It's so easy to remember. I don't even know why I have to say it again. It's Alternate Jake Hunter, Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz.
That's right, because you didn't say Alternate Jake Hunter at first, and I was I could have sworn that title was even stupider than what you're saying right now.
Yeah, sorry, Alternate Jake Hunter.
What we've learned is that perhaps we should stay away from this one.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah, long titles, good for emo music, not for video games.
Arnie, tell me how disappointed you were in something other than me.
I gotta say, like, well, that was my pick, so I'll have to pivot now very quickly. No, like, again, I was looking through my list and I was like, one of these games had to suck, right? Like, one of them. And, like, if you want me to say a game, like, Rygar PS2, that was the worst game I played this year. Like, that was the worst.
You still had fun with it, though.
I love that game. That game was terrible.
Right,
but honestly, I was like, fuck. Like, for what it was, like, mostly the reason I enjoyed that game was because, like, I didn't realize that Rygar was, like, popular enough that, like, between the NES and the PS2, somebody was like, I know what we need to bring back. I know what the kids are fucking clamoring for now.
Definition of cult classic.
Rygar!
Definition
That's right.
of cult classic, man. Absolutely.
But no, man, when I really thought about it, I'm like, it's like the NFT bullshit, like the graded game stuff, like all that shit is just making me clinically depressed now. Like,
yeah,
I'm just like, when Square Enix the other day was like, we know that some people
God.
No, what was the thing he said? He was like, we know some people that play games just want to have fun, but some people want to achieve things. And I was like,
one of the worst.
God.
Dude, if you haven't read it,
it's so good.
It's
so good.
So bad.
It's like, has that CEO been like he believes all those joke entrepreneur accounts on Instagram? He believes all that stuff. Like, he's just like, sleep in a bush, wash yourself in a Wendy's basement, invest in fish. Yep. Make millions.
They're Final Fantasy NFTs to sell to your friends.
They don't teach this in schools. They don't teach us in schools. We got to learn it ourselves. Yep. That's these guys.
It's fucking great. Like, I think there's a number of companies that have it. Like, Ubisoft definitely did an NFT thing for whatever their Ghost Recon shit is now.
Yeah.
Square Enix has announced they're going to do something. There was another company that said they wanted to do NFTs, and then they sort of backed off of it when, like, people started yelling at them.
Discord did.
Yeah. Discord did it.
Sure.
Discord did?
They were planning on it. They were planning on doing, like, some NFT related stuff. There's just so much of this shit. And, like, again, it's like a tired sort of argument, but people are just like, I keep asking people, like, why we want NFTs, or, like, the blockchain in gaming. Like, what does it do? And everybody's just like, I don't know, like, fucking. Yeah. Or they say some shit that's like, we can already do that. Like, it's fine. Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't need to sell you my monkey picture from, like, Ape Escape or some shit, to have fun. But it's just like, it just seems like against all the current of like negativity, companies are just determined to be like, there's like about 40,000 people we can grift out of like several $1,000s with this, so we should definitely still do it.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
You know?
Man.
And I feel like it's going to be one of these things, like kind of like with microtransactions and like loot box stuff, which, you know, everybody kind of universally hated. And at this point, we're all just like, I guess it's just a thing that exists. Like, don't do it, but it's not going away.
Right.
And I
well,
feel
loot
like
boxes they've definitely fallen out of style, I think.
Well, only to be replaced by your NFT of like Solid Snake staring up somebody's like, you know, skirt.
At least
or
a loot
something.
box. At least a loot box doesn't have a carbon footprint of a giant dinosaur, man. Like, it's just,
In a loot box, isn't it making it extremely difficult to get a graphics card or?
Yep.
right. Yeah,
oh my god.
That's right.
No, that's a good one, Arnie. My disappointment. Well, I have a couple actually, and
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Yeah.
And the first one, look, I got this game. I was excited for it. It looked really good. Cool art style. It's a South American developer, but it's their take on the JRPG.
Okay.
I got Chris Tales back in July
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
on the Switch. And maybe this folds into a larger disappointment, which is ports on the Switch in general that aren't optimized. Like R-Type Final 2 on the Switch literally gave me headaches. Like, it was brutal.
I don't know if you're a Rune Factory guy, but I heard that Rune Factory 5 on the Switch is a sight to behold.
Oh no, that's too bad, because I actually was kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So with that said, like, I loaded up Chris Tales and I noticed something after about 15 minutes. I was like, wow, this game is loading a lot. And it's loading for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into a random encounter, because it is like a JRPG, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was loading before the random encounter. And then I finished the random encounter, and there was loading after the random encounter. And I didn't realize, like, I looked at my hands, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm not holding a PS1. This is a Nintendo Switch. What the fuck is going on here, right?
Now, did you try putting it in the fridge? Did that
No, but I
solve your
should have. No, but I should have. And so I went online and I'm like, okay, is this a Switch thing or is this a Chris Tales thing? And apparently it's a Chris Tales thing.
Really?
Apparently there is insane amounts of loading even on the Series X.
Really?
And I'm like, how is that possible? Like, I just don't know how we make a game these days, a 2D game. Like, this isn't like heavy polygon, whatever, right? And it's just loading all the time. And it was so disappointing because it looks really good.
Yep.
And it has a cool kind of gimmick where you can look on one part of the screen and look into the past and look into another part of the screen and look into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of like manipulate time in order to solve problems throughout the game. You know, it's got this cool hook, looks great. And I played it for like an hour and a half and I'm like, I can't do this. It's so disappointing because like there was
the loading screens before and after battles. That's great. It's
unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable in this day and age.
You
for that
couldn't
to be
even throw
happening.
like some flashy animation, like we're going into a cloud or something to like.
Yeah, no,
I refused to deal with that in the PS1 era. There's no way I would deal with that
I'm
now.
saying, right? Like, oh man, it really disappointing.
That's a shame because it does look gorgeous. Like it looks really beautiful.
Yeah,
I know.
I recently picked it up for the physical copy for like $14.99. Now I'll probably
guess
just
what?
sit on the shelf with all the other ones. So.
Put it right next
I'm
to your
sorry.
copy of Cyberpunk, and hopefully they'll patch it or something.
They did patch it. Like when I first loaded up Chris Tales, it was right before the immediate patch.
Yeah,
And there was even more wrong with it. Like I didn't even get into all the problems with like the main character's voice was super low volume and everybody else's was really high. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And they fixed that with a patch, but like, come on, man. Like that's really poor quality control.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing, I'm only mentioning this because it's now the second year in a row that I'm mentioning this. Console availability. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Can we not solve this? Now, I understand there are global supply chain issues, and I understand there's a semiconductor shortage.
Go on.
Fine, right? Find a fucking way to get around the scalpers and the bots, please. Somebody. I don't care who. I don't know if it's on Sony to do this or Microsoft for that matter. I don't necessarily think it's their responsibility. I'm kind of looking at retailers and I'm just like, guys, you got to figure this out. This is killing us. We were talking about the PSVR 2 today and the announcement. And sadly, my immediate thought was, oh, well, you know, if it sucks, then it sucks. And if it's good, I'm not going to be able to get it anyway.
I'll never get one.
Because it's going to get bought up by everybody online and scalped on eBay, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, do we have a solution here? Like, Mike, do you have anything in mind? Is there anything we can do here?
I honestly, like, I don't think anything is going to change or happen until they stop selling them.
I know. You
know, so
it's what it comes down to all the time.
That's the like they don't care, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It manufactures like a want and a sense of like wanting to get it and that it's rare because it is.
Yeah.
And all of those are things that have been proven time and time again to work with a lot of the, you know, average gamer, average consumer, like especially hardcore gamers, hardcore consumers. So like it's not in their best interest to fix it. They're not going to fix it.
Yeah. No. But I mean, this is like beyond like the Nintendo Wii, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you
had one holiday
100%.
season, you couldn't find it. After that holiday season, you can find it everywhere. And that's kind of how it goes with all these things, right? But we're now going on like we're over a year, but we're going into year 2 of this stuff. And it's just doesn't stop.
Yeah. And it is, I would say it's as much of a Sony and Microsoft problem as it is a retailer problem, but Sony and Microsoft don't care because a sale's a sale, right? Like the money's going in their pocket either way. Of
course.
They don't give a shit if you're paying $1,000 to some random guy off of Kijiji or Craigslist or whatever to buy it.
I also have sorry.
No. But I will say this, and I'm not trying to throw shade one way or the other, but I do know of people who have gotten multiple Xbox Series X's who have been able to find for friends and been able to, but with the PS5 it seems like it's that much harder to get. Like I think there's an appreciable difference between the two of which one is harder to come across, and it's definitely the PS5.
Interesting. I've had a more no, that's incorrect. I didn't have a more difficult time with the Series X. I haven't put enough effort. And so I don't have a Series X yet, which by the way, another disappointment because a lot of the games that I wanted to play this year were actually on the Series X. And I was constantly lamenting it's John, our dear patron John. He's just up our ass all the time on Discord with all these games on Game Pass that I want to play, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I don't have a Series X yet. Yeah. So, thank you, John.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think 2022 is going to be the year that we all... Maybe holiday 2022, there'll be more stuff available, but it's not looking great either for that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just... Yeah, it just feels like this stuff is... Kelly, go ahead.
I've seen... like retailers try to do something about scalpers and everything else. It's just that it just seems like everything that they do, the scalpers will find a way around. So they'll put, like Best Buy put up where you would click on the add to cart button and it would take 4 or 5 minutes before you could actually add it to the cart, just to try and keep the flow of traffic moving properly, and that people could only get one, and then people would make a bot to get around that. Same thing. My experience was a lot with graphics cards since I was trying for months to get to it, but AMD has a queue every Thursday. It goes up at the same time, and at first it was just you get into the queue and you get a random spot in the queue, no matter if you were, it wasn't first in first out, you just got a random spot to go into it. People made a bot to somehow get around that, so they added the captcha cards to that to try and combat that. People made a bot to get around that. It's just like everything they try to do, people are just
the money's
finding
too
ways
good.
around
the
it.
money is too good. Like people are paying the prices they're selling them at, you know?
Yeah.
And and I will say, admittedly, retail, I don't know about in Canada, but in the US, retailers have also come up with some pretty bullshit workarounds to this. Like, I know Walmart and GameStop both do this thing now where they're like, oh, if you sign up for our membership program, like, we'll do exclusive drops where you can try to get it if you're like a Walmart Plus member or whatever.
Yep.
And not a solution.
Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. Like, fuck right off with that bullshit.
Yeah, Best Buy has like a total tech for like 2 years for $200, but if you sign up for that, you get a better chance at a PS5 or a Xbox or a graphics card.
Plus GameStop's, plus their favorite, like, oh, we have a ton of PS5s. This is our PS5 that comes with 3 controllers, 2 games that you don't want, the headphones. It costs like $800, but like that's the only one you're gonna get.
I know. Okay, I regret bringing this up now because we're collectively just getting angrier and angrier. Why don't we take a short break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about happy things like the game of the year of 2021. All right, everyone, we're back with the anticipated finale, the 2021 Game of the Year. Mike, we're going to start with you.
Game of the Year is Metroid Dread.
Hey.
It's Metroid Dread.
Hey.
I almost feel like a bit of a scrub saying that because it's kind of a more popular joint, but dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Metroid Dread is awesome.
Another game that people said that they wouldn't pay $60 for.
Yep.
It's more than worth it. It's amazing. I think what's interesting about Metroid Dread, and I think part of the reason why it's my choice, is because it wasn't a straightforward, oh my god, this game is amazing right away, all the way through. I love it so much. Yeah. It was a challenging game in a bunch of ways. I mean, number one, it's difficult. It's probably the most difficult Metroid game, at least I've heard.
Really?
That's what I've heard. But like, from the point of view of trying to understand what it was doing, it was really cool. It was really like unlocking a mystery in the game itself, trying to figure out how to maneuver and get around, but also trying to figure out, like, Mercury's team, what'd you guys do? You know, like, because it wasn't what I expected, and it's so strange how a game can be, you know, this refined version of the namesake of Metroidvania, but at the same time, it does certain things that are really not Metroidvania-ish at all, you know, like at all. It's very linear and scripted and guided in a certain way, because yes, there is some freedom of movement, but up until a certain point of the game, they really funnel you. It's nothing, you're not forced, but it's almost like you always feel this hand behind you kind of going, come on, keep going. Never touching you, but it's kind of always there. Yeah. And the thing is it's the perfect example. I mean, I'll just say this. It's the only game I can think of, except maybe Pyre for different reasons, that I actually wanted to play it again immediately. When I finished it, 100%ed it, I was like, I could just play this again right now. Like, I'm having so much fun playing it, and I can't even remember the last time that happened to me. And it's partially because when you first play the game, and you're kind of coming to grips to how Samus moves and how everything works, it's kind of weird. It's a little, and like you get to the first boss, and if you're not totally in tune, he can kind of kick your butt. But then when I was playing it the second time and I had achieved kind of 100%ed it and figured out how to use the Shine Spark and everything was down pat, I was flying through the game and I was like, this feels so good. Oh my God, like Mercury Steam, how did you do it? You know? And so it really is, you know, for all those reasons, I think it's just kind of genius. I don't think it's the Metroid I necessarily wanted. I think that I'm more of a Metroid Prime guy. I like a little more atmosphere. I like a little more darkness to it, a little more of a sense of I'm alone on this planet. Whereas Dread is much more of an action-focused thing. It's amazing, but it's much more kind of action-focused. But I will say, like, narratively and in terms of cutscenes, the direction is stellar. Mercury Steam are no slouch at that. They've always, you know, they have questionable games, but they've always been really good about kind of getting you hype in a cutscene. And there are some moments in this game, no spoilers and nobody spoil it, but there are some moments in this game where Samus is like, it's hype. It's amazing. It's so satisfying. And you're like, oh, Samus kicks ass, you know, and it's just so great.
Did you play Samus Returns? The 3DS one?
I haven't played. This made me want to play Samus Returns. I had seen Samus Returns and just kind of been like, eh.
Yeah, I was wondering because people have like mixed opinions on that one, and this one seems to be like across the board. Everybody says it's great.
That's the thing, is that I want to go back to it now, because honestly, my last experience with Mercury Steam was, hey, Mirror of Fate and Lords of Shadow 1 and 2, which was not great, you know? Yeah. So I played this and I'm like, this is fantastic. I kind of want to go back to it now and see. All that being said, the last thing I'll say really quick is that there is mixed emotions with me saying this, because fuck certain people who work at Mercury Steam, and I really hope all the people working there who worked really hard on this game and crunched like crazy, I hope they're proud, and they should be really happy, and they made a lot of people really happy.
Yeah.
And they should feel that. But to all the people at Mercury Steam who are making everyone's else's lives miserable, either before or now, fuck you. Yeah. And I wish you a hasty exit from the game industry.
Solidarity with Mercury Steam. I feel like that's a disclaimer we're going to be making a lot going forward.
It's true. Yes.
Like, oh man, this game was so good. Fuck the company that made it, specific people in there, but everybody else, good job.
Yeah. So. Yeah, your comment about how badass Samus is, it was almost like I heard an echo when we had Matt from Hall of Fame Pod on a little while ago. And he was talking about how satisfying it is just to control Samus and what a badass she is and how cool that is. And there's something to be said for that. Like just kind of like getting behind this character who is a badass. It's great.
Yeah. And there's really inspired little touches with the environmental design, little things here and there. But yeah, Samus is the star of the show. She destroys it. Yeah. Like there are little touches that they do with her animations and her attitude. And like, to me, this is, please just make more. Yeah. Like, I'm like, make more. Everybody buy it. By the way, if you didn't buy it, go buy it. I don't care if you find a way to pirate it. Buy it. Buy it at full price. Doesn't matter how much it is. Okay. I don't care about Steam. I don't care about Switch games ever going down in price. Buy it. Okay. Because if people buy it enough, Nintendo might make another one in less than a decade. Yeah. And boy, how awesome would that be? Yeah. So please go buy it.
Yeah, I have to buy it as a big fan of Fusion, which apparently this is like very much in the vein of, which I was so happy that they finally fucking came back to that well after like Federation Force and whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyhow, I think I'll go next because I don't know, mine's weird because like this is now the
Super Robot Wars 5. We all know. Let's just fucking get on with it. Yeah. Is it actually?
No, it's not.
Okay. Oh my god, I got really. Oh my god, it is.
First of all, it's not Super Robot Wars 5. It's Super Robot Wars V.
That's right.
I've already had to explain this to Kelly, and I think you were there, Arnie.
That's right.
I don't want to have to explain this nomenclature over and over again. It's clear as day. Okay.
V and
sequel to like Super Robot Wars X, etc. or whatever.
No, Cross, isn't it?
Okay.
No, it's X.
Paul, what's your game? What's your game of the year? Paul, what is your game of the year?
My game of the, so like I said, we've been doing this for a while, and every year it's been easy, right? Like we did our one for 2017, Breath of the Wild. You know, Persona 5 was in there, Super Mario Odyssey, but it was a pretty easy choice for me. Beat Saber was an easy choice. Slay the Spire was when I got the needle out of my veins so I could go on the episode and talk about it. Easy choice. Last year, you know, we had I had Hades and 13 Sentinels. Like there's never been a lack of choice. This year, I've got nothing, man. I've got nothing. I haven't I haven't played enough games, first of all, new games this year to even really make an educated opinion. But even the ones I have played, like, I pulled up, so for like towards the end of the year, I'm like, man, I've got nothing. I know we're going to do this episode and I got nothing, right? I could buy Metroid Dread. I like Metroidvanias, so I could do that, but didn't get around to it. And then I heard about this game that Ozzy told me about back in October when it was released. And he's like, yeah, this sounds like it'll be right up your alley. And a few weeks ago, I got Inscription on Steam.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was
nice.
And I was like, sweet, this is a slam dunk. I can play Inscription for a few weeks and just join everybody else and say, oh, Game of the Year, Inscription, right? But it's not. It's actually kind of disappointing. I was a little bit, it does a really cool thing narratively, and it throws you a lot of curveballs. Like, the game that you think you're playing kind of isn't the game that you're playing, so to speak. It's really, really interesting what they've done with the design of this game. But at the end of the day, it's a card game, and the card game is just not that good. It's just not, right? Like, and I know Slay the Spire is a very high bar to reach, and few games do. I think Monster Train is the only other card game, and I haven't played Griftlands yet, which a lot of people have told me about. But
didn't Yoko Taro come out with like a card game recently too?
I heard the card is very minimum in that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Has it already out, or is it coming out?
It's out.
I thought it was.
It's out.
Oh, maybe it was that all the environments are like made out of cards or something.
Yeah.
Something had to do with cards. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. So I was like, yeah, sweet, Inscription, for sure, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. What am I gonna? I'm not gonna call it my game of the year. It's just not that much. But I mean, I don't know. If I have to pick something that came out this year, it's gonna be Super Robot Wars 30, because that's the one that came out this year.
Fucking damn it!
Yeah.
I was like, this man is
so happy.
I was like, this man is talking about
So
Inscription
happy.
here. Like, he doesn't fucking own Deathloop. Like, he could just say, oh fuck, it's Deathloop. I played Deathloop.
I played Deathloop for a few hours, and it's really good.
Yeah.
And if I had got around to finishing it, then maybe I could have honestly said, yeah, game of the year. That's a good choice.
But Super
It's a
Robot
good
Wars
game.
30 is so
Proud.
is like such
I can't
a you
stop
game.
playing it, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I played it when I was on vacation. I play it on my breaks at work. I fucking love that game.
Yeah.
It's not game of the year material. Let's not kid ourselves. This is the same goddamn game that they've been releasing for 30 years. It's called Robo Wars 30, right?
Hey, if Jake Hunter taught you anything, it's that you shouldn't devalue consistency. It's not as easy as it looks.
Don't mess with a
motherfucker.
good thing.
This is true.
Don't mess with a good thing.
But it doesn't really do. I mean, it has a few gameplay innovations here and there, but like largely it's not really different from anything they've released in the past 5 years or so, right?
Yeah.
Sell it. Sell me on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine
I
all
can
your
sell
favorite
it.
robots like fucking fight each other. Like, buy it. It's great.
Oh my god! Not only do they fight each other, oh my god! So they have all the original voice actors. There's there's
good.
music from the show every time they fight. The animations are so cool, and oh my god, man! Like,
Are there any
awesome.
new
This is-
robots you were particularly excited about in this entry, or any returning robots that you were like, oh, I love these guys?
well, every entry I play has Combattler V.
of course.
And Combattler V, I don't know if you guys remember the video I sent on Discord of the giant robot that fights with yo-yos. That's Combattler V.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And
So
Combattler V
cool.
is fantastic. I look forward to Combattler V in every single Robo Wars. The best Robo Wars, honestly, are the ones that include Gunbuster.
Of course.
Because Gunbuster, in the versions of Robo Wars that include Gunbuster, Gunbuster is completely fucking broken. And it's so great.
Gunbuster is
Because it should be.
on it.
Yes. Hard work and guts. Hard work and guts. All right.
That's
But
what
I
Coach
appreciate
says.
that because, like, it's like I fucking hate like crossover games like this where they include characters who like in their like show or their anime or whatever are like fucking insanely disgustingly overpowered, and they're like, well, I guess we gotta make them as strong as like whatever bitch ass thing this is. I guess and in this game they're like, slimes. No, this is fucking Gunbuster, like he just kills everything. Like it's fine. That's just how it works.
So good. Get that Inazuma kick going, man.
Dude, the Inazuma kick is completely broken.
This is absolutely Game of the Year material. I don't know what you're talking about. This is genius.
You're making me feel much better about it, because like I said, it's the same goddamn game they've been releasing almost on an annual basis. But unlike FIFA, you know, there's nary a complaint. Yeah. I never hear anybody complain about RoboWars. Never. Yeah. It's just everybody's happy to see it, and we play it. And I haven't played all of them. That's impossible. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I have a wife and a job and so on.
He said as he flew 10,000 miles to Mexico to play Super Robot Wars. To play
RoboWars. Dude, on the plane? Hell yeah. Like, So anyway, good. Yeah, that's I'm just gonna go ahead and call that my game of the year.
Nice.
I could say Deathloop is a runner-up. I just haven't played enough of it to say, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just gonna be mad if you were like, "Oh, Inscription's my game of the year because it's the only 2021 game I played." And I was like, "That you have Deathloop, motherfucker! Like, you can lie and say that you."
I know. I could
lie. And there were too much integrity here.
Super Robot, you got to go with the heart.
Right.
Super
but
Robot,
I appreciate that you went with this instead.
I highly recommend it. Like, if you have any passing interest in Gundam or virtually any kind of robot anime. Yeah. It's a joy to play. And it's not just, and I'm going long here, but it's not just because you get to enjoy watching the robots and the actors and all that from the shows that you've already seen. It also exposes you to new ones, right?
Yeah.
And that is, and there are so many shows now that I want to watch just because of robots from this. Oh, Mike, you mentioned, I forgot, you did mention, is there one that returned? Elgime returned for this one for the first time in a very long time, and that is, and it's awesome, and the theme song for it is great. Every time Elgime fights, I'm like,
is it only giant robots, or like is Astro Boy and like smaller robots like that in it as well, or it's just like big honking?
I think it's just mecha.
Everything mecha from Astro. I don't think Astro Boy has ever been in a Super Robot Wars game, and that might be a licensing thing, but Ultraman is in this. Ray Earth is in this one. Magic Knight Ray Earth.
It's so any cool. Sentai, actually, like Megazord type robots in this?
No, none of those.
No Kamen Rider shit.
Ultraman is the closest to that.
Okay.
Saint Seiya.
I want to say Saint Seiya has been in a previous one, but don't quote me.
Go Lion, Voltron.
I just love the fact that it's the same VO. Yeah. They have all the voice actors.
Let's
and the
stop
music.
Before we just start naming childhood enemies.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so cool though.
The Avas are in it. You said, I think, once.
Avas have been in it in the past. They're not in this version. But the Avas, when they are available, are really cool because they have AT fields, and it's hilarious, especially early in the game. You just toss an Ava out there and let all the enemies attack it. They can't damage it, and then you just pick them off slowly while Ava just like eats everything. It's
so
great.
Good.
Arnie, Game of the Year 2021.
I mean, this, it's going to be boring, but I've broken with several traditions. Okay. The main one being that I'm not copying Paul's Game of the Year from last year, which I've done probably like 3 times before. Like Beat Saber was one. 13 Sentinels was definitely one.
Slay the Spire, I think.
And Slay the Spire might have been one, yeah. So we're breaking with that tradition, only to continue with the more beloved tradition of Arnie only played one game that was released in 2021 at the end of the year because it was either released or went on sale during the holidays. So obviously my game of the year is Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah!
The only 2021 game I finished in 2021.
So what a game.
I think I could have made a run at Nier the newest one because I did get it, but I would have been like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on because I've played none of them. But no, it was, I am not like I every time I play a new Shin Megami Tensei game, I'm like, I think I could like this as much as Persona, and every single time I'm like, no. And this was not different. It's more stylistic, I'll say, than a lot of the other Shin Megami Tensei entries I've played. Like, a lot of the other ones seem very dark, morose, like, foreboding, and, like, the art style sort of reflects that. This is, like, has that same atmosphere, but it's very bright and colorful, and I really, really enjoyed it. But, like, what more can you fucking say, man? Like, go around, collect your Pokemon demons and fight them. Like, make your giant penis monster, have a good fucking time, kill God like 7 times.
Just the atmosphere in that game. I played the first couple hours alone, and the atmosphere is so good, thick and amazing. It's the way I would describe it is like when you play Persona, it's like you're playing a 2000s anime come to life, okay? But when you play SMT, it's like you're playing a 90s anime come to life. It's all grim, dark, and violent, and like, and you're just like, it's got that really kind of, I mean, it sounds cliche, but the mature atmosphere, and you're like, dude, they really made this game? Like, holy shit. You know?
It's playing, I don't fucking know. It's like comparing, like, like Mike said, it's like any 2000s to 2010s anime versus like MD Geist or some shit. Like, you know what I'm talking about? But, it's everything that you want is there. Like, the Switch has its issues with performance in handheld mode. Sometimes, like, textures pop in and stuff, but it's nothing, like, game-breaking. Definitely like, load screens after fights and stuff. And it's an open world, like, type of... Well, not open world, but, like, the levels are, like, open. Where you get to, like, run, like, Naruto-style run into, like, Jack Frost and, like, beat the shit out of him. Like, what more do I want? Aside from not having to wait 7 years for the next one, not much. Also, I think I did say this on the What Have You Been Playing, but in the running for sexiest protagonist in the Shin Megami Tensei universe, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Definite himbo energy coming off of the protagonist one.
Absolute, like, Sigma
male, for sure.
Okay, all right, cool. Sorry.
So
I'm sorry.
It's a boring choice, but like that was it.
No, it's awesome.
Hey man, no more boring than mine. I don't
That's
think.
Right.
Or,
now
or
to
strange.
now to go into my slumber till Persona 6 comes out on like the PS5 that I won't own when it releases.
Have they talked about Persona 6?
They've made like sort of illusions, like it will exist at some point, you know.
All right.
I think they're not quite done milking Persona 5 yet.
Yeah, for sure. They have said I think they did say that they were going to have some announcements for like the 30th anniversary or the 25th anniversary or something. They were doing some stuff, but like I didn't hear anything. A lot of people have been making like a lot of people want stuff like Persona 5 Royal to come to PC or to come to Switch. They want like Persona 4 Golden to come to like PS5 and stuff like that. Like,
Innocent Sin, man. If they should just make Innocent Sin.
They should. They like, actually, a lot of people thought that during the anniversary celebrations, they were finally going to fucking announce Persona 3 Portable Remake, which is actually what I fucking want, because I want to play Persona 3 without having all my goddamn team members do whatever the fuck they want to do. It's the only thing keeping me from playing that goddamn game. And now I can't afford Persona 3 Portable because it's like, I don't know, $150 or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So please do that, Atlas, if you're listening. And make more Mara merchandise. I want like a shirt or a hat or something.
Plushie?
Yes, I would absolutely buy one.
All right, I can't. With a rubber tip? All right, I'm done now.
The wheels have to spin so I can like roll it down the hallway of my apartment.
Kelly, bring it home.
I was trying to decide between two, so I've got a runner-up. I'm just going to state my runner-up real quick. That would be Nier Replicant. Now I'm curious to know what the fuck won.
I know, now I really want to know.
Nier Replicant, and for a while there I was like, it's definitely Nier Replicant. Then I was doing my Instagram post the other day, where I pulled off all the games that I beat last year and spread them out and made a picture of them, and I was like, holy shit, I forgot this game even came out this year. And so Nier Replicant ended up being the runner-up. Amazing game, definitely play it. Soundtrack lost Best Soundtrack on the Steam Awards and to Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm still absolutely flabbergasted.
Oh my god.
That game got a lot of love. I remember we were watching that Xbox showcase, and we were all like, what the fuck is this Guardians of the Galaxy shit?
Yeah.
Apparently, we were very wrong.
Yeah, apparently it's a good game, but to
I'm
get that
sure
game...
it's a good game, but like, it's a curated selection of music. It's not original, right? I'm assuming, I haven't played it, but I'm just assuming it's the same as the movie where they have a really cool selection of pre-existing music that in 10 years you won't be able to download the game anymore.
Are you saying that Your Love by the Outfield didn't deserve Best Game Soundtrack?
Anyway, Kelly.
Yeah,
sorry.
So Game of the Year came out super early in the year for North America. It did come out in 2020 in Japan, but I couldn't play it till 2021. Arnie, don't put away your Shin Megami Tensei yet. My Game of the Year is Persona 5 Strikers.
Ooh!
Whoa! Wow!
Unexpected.
Nice.
I mean, this game surprised the absolute hell out of me. I really loved Persona 5, but at the same time, it dragged on so long that by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm done with this game. Royal came out, I played the first dungeon, I was like, I can't do this again anytime.
Can't do a whole nother semester of Persona 5.
No. So when this game came out, I wanted to play it because I wanted to see how the characters evolved in the game.
Yeah.
I was hesitant about the battle system because I'm not a big Dynasty Warriors or any of that.
Moso.
I'm not a big, huge fan of those games, but when I put that game in, it had so much energy. Yeah. The battle system, yes, it does have that to it, but it's still Persona. You still have those personas. You still have the character. It still feels like a Persona game. Yeah. And just the fact that the storyline in it, since the characters already know each other and everything else, they can just continue on with the adventure. You don't have that huge setup and everything else. That's basically why I've dropped all superhero films and everything else. I'm so sick of the setup. I don't care how you got your powers anymore. I just want to see you doing cool shit together. Yeah. And that's what this game gave me. It was these characters already know each other, already good friends, joking around with each other, going on a trip together, and solving the mystery along the way. And it was just a good time start to finish. What they did with one of the characters that they added to the game, I loved it. I still don't want to spoil it because I want people to play this game, but I think us as older fans will all really enjoy the fact what they did with one of the characters in the game.
Ooh. That makes it even more intriguing. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't expect this to be your pick, but it makes sense. You're right. Yeah, it came out earlier this year, and I really like that too. Like this, to me, this is kind of the secret of why I enjoyed Persona 4 Dancing and Persona 4 Arena. Like the relationships already exist. You know what I mean? And the characters are even more comfortable with each other now. And it really, that's, to me, that's always been the secret for Persona in general, is that it feels like you're hanging out with a group of friends. Yep. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the secret sauce. And when they release these spin-offs, they just kind of turn the dial on that even higher. They already exist. They're even more relaxed, and it's just fun.
Yep. Yeah, I will say, I also forgot that game came out this year, so I was like, oh, damn. But yeah, no, now that you mention it, like, when it came out, I saw a lot of people play it and being like, I love this. Like, it was so good. A lot of people said it was really emotional for them. Like, it was, like, the story was really, really, really good. So now I'm like, oh, shit, I haven't picked that game up. I should do that.
Yeah.
And apparently I mean, if I'm going to get one, I'll probably get the PS4, but I've heard that the Switch port does run pretty well. Like, I haven't heard a lot of complaints about that one.
I did play it on PS4, so
yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll definitely be revisiting that game at some point, just because I did enjoy it so much.
So stylish,
Yeah.
man.
Also, am I to understand, Kelly, that when you pop Persona 5 Royal into your game, it does not read that you have a clear save from Persona 5 and like start you off from like where you left off there?
I think you can get... I had to start at the beginning for sure.
What the fuck? No. That's
No, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure you gotta start at the
That
beginning.
makes a lot of sense, Arnie. What are you talking
What
about?
the fuck? No!
Why would you start off at the end of a game?
It's a whole
It's
new
not at the end.
it's
There's like a whole
game.
new semester.
There is a whole new semester, but the character is
Exactly.
interwoven straight from the beginning.
Oh, my
She's
fucking
right at
God.
the beginning.
I don't have time for this shit.
Exactly. I mean,
What the fuck?
Persona 5, I think it was like a 120-hour experience for me by the time I got done with
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
I
At the
just
very
can't.
least, like, start my team off at like level 50 or something. Like, let me just blaze through the beginning of this game.
That's why you play it on easy.
Mike,
That's
playing
true.
it on easy will not help me go to the batting cages 17,000 times to like up my strength stat by 1 point or some shit.
Well, then don't do that. Play it on easy, and you don't need to do anything but the things you want to do.
How
That's
am I
why.
not supposed to
it's
talk to all my
impossible.
waifus and husbandos if they won't accept my bravery? They're like,
Yeah,
you're not
that's
brave
true.
enough. You're not smart enough for me to fucking talk to you. Go watch a movie or make lockpicks, you idiot.
Whatever.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap it up on that note.
Yeah.
Anyhow, wow, I can't believe it. 5 Game of the Year episodes.
That's right.
This is crazy.
Yep.
So thank you so much, Arnie, Mike, Kelly. Like, you guys make this so much fun, and obviously if it wasn't, we wouldn't be doing it for for this long. So
Hear,
thanks.
hear.
I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody who's listening. You guys are great as well. Everybody who interacts with us on Discord, you guys are phenomenal. Arnie and I were just talking about this privately the other day. Like, Discord has really just kind of amped up our, I don't want to say dedication level. We don't work any harder, but what it does is
don't.
you know what? It just makes it more fun. That's really kind of the bottom line, right? It makes us more passionate about the whole project. So
Yeah.
thank you to
And
everybody.
we are really. Oh, I was gonna say we are really excited to hear what everybody else's picks of the year are, and let us know that too. Like, let us know, what are your games of the year? What were the big surprises? What was the disappointment? Like, let us know. Like, it's so much fun hearing this stuff, and you know, we get jazzed hearing about what you guys are into.
Oh yeah, big time.
Absolutely. Every new patron, every new Discord member is like a new robot that I'm discovering in Super Robo Wars 30. I never know what it's gonna be, but it's always fun.
All right. On that note, thanks everybody. Take care.